Something like that. There we go. Boom. We're
Hello.
live. How are you, sir?
Good. How are you?
I always, it's so funny. We've been hanging out for like an hour and a half. And I'm like, hey, man, how are you? Like, we just sat down.
The illusion.
And then we regularly break the illusion by being like, yeah, and then before the podcast, we were talking about.
The little behind the scenes action is all.
So I'm glad I coincidentally didn't. Forgot to put away the old gun. I'm glad I coincidentally didn't have any sponsors for this, because for weeks I've been calling you John Riviere.
Oh, yes.
But you told me that's technically it's Riviere.
Riviere.
Related to old Paul.
So I have an uncle named Paul, and there's a story about him going to the DMV.
You don't have to indulge my dumbass jokes, dude. I'm just kidding.
I do have an uncle named Paul, and we made it a point to go see the Paul Revere house in Boston when we were on tour there.
Really?
So
because it's not spelled the same.
No, yeah.
There's his ERE, right?
It's different.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Well, thank you for being here, my dude.
Thank you for having me. I've been excited.
You've been excited?
Been excited to be here.
No, I'm glad to have you, man. We had Dustin on already. Fucking, you guys. Since then, you had this fucking beer release.
Oh yes.
So let's jump right into that, because I want to hear as much of this story as we can.
Sure.
From what I understood, Dustin did a tour of the brewery, and then found out that the owner or one of the brewers is a huge fan of your guys' band. Is that right?
And metal in general, yeah. When we were brewing the beer, he was wearing a Black Dahlia shirt. It was really sick. And yeah, Adam and Dustin, they lived there across Hiawatha. Adam still lives there, but yeah, I think they made like the connection with them through like going there so consistently.
That's crazy.
It was so sick.
That's fucking crazy. So how does that process unfold? Like, who brings it up to who? Did they bring it up to you guys, or did you guys approach them?
I'm not certain. I wouldn't be surprised either way. I think it was us reaching out to them. If I could totally be wrong. I really I feel bad that I wasn't involved in that part of the process.
Yeah. So who mainly handled that? Obviously, Dustin was probably involved.
Yeah, Dustin. I feel like Dustin is kind of our main point of contact for any like external deals or anything like that.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah. He's kind of that guy for us.
That's
Always
cool.
has been.
So once that process starts, then, I mean, I kind of understand how beer's made, but how does that thing actually start and finish, to the point where when I showed up, you had this big event, they're playing your music over the PA, fucking place was packed, it was dope.
It was so sick.
Fucking you're selling your merch, and they're serving this beer that you guys had your name on.
I think we're just gonna forego the whole playing music live, and we're just gonna switch to just having beer releases. It'll be so much better.
It was pretty dope, dude. It was pretty dope. I think a lot of people were disappointed that you guys didn't play that night at the brewery. What went into that? How come you guys didn't play that night?
I'm not sure. I don't think there was like ever any conversation about like performing that evening. If it's a possibility,
it could be a license issue too.
I wonder.
Like that venue, that bar may not have I think it's a Class B license, a Class B entertainment license you need in order to have music above a certain decibel level from live musicians. They probably just have like what they have to play music over the speakers.
Yeah,
I think that's like a Class D or something like that.
I'm not sure.
I know of it just from being in the industry, because I've heard guys like, oh fuck, we gotta get this license, like, and guys didn't think they'd need one, then they'd get flagged by the fire marshal or somebody else. Like, you don't even have a permit to do this, you don't even have a license. Or like, well, what? So it could have been just that simple thing, like, no, we don't want to do all that.
It was honestly kind of sick to not play, because like I feel like specifically with home shows, I get so focused on like putting on a good show, and like the people there are people that I know, so it's like more important that it goes well. So like getting to like just talk to people, my voice was hoarse after that evening from like yelling and talking to people the whole evening. So much fun.
I can believe it. Yeah, I had a blast, dude. Yeah, fucking God, I'm a total space case today, dude. My tooth has been killing me, so I didn't get a lot of sleep last night. I woke up at like 5:30 in the morning. I'm like, oh, I gotta go to the dentist. It's starting to fucking kill me, man. But I know what you're talking about when it comes to that kind of shit, though, because you're playing a hometown show. Like, a lot of people know you. Your time is then divided. You only get a little bit of time. You're worried about your performance. You know, Did they play that one, your newest release, the CD, or we call them CDs, but that your newest release, whatever, the album,
Dead Matter?
Did they do that on loop, or did they play your whole catalog?
So I think somebody logged into their YouTube Red account and had like this playlist. It was just like a By the Thousands playlist that we curated and then like
gotcha. Okay.
on repeat the whole night. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
We threw in a bunch of like our friends' bands too, so that was put in some like Reaping and some Inflict. It was really good.
It was pretty cool, man. And you guys got a lot of respect because there was a lot of cool cats that showed up to that motherfucker.
Oh, dude.
I recognize a lot of motherfuckers. I talked to a lot of people that night too.
That was like the first time I saw anybody after being in lockdown for like that whole duration. Yeah, it was crazy.
How'd lockdown hit you?
It was interesting. I feel like ultimately it was good, and like I'm a homebody anyways.
You're an indoor cat?
Oh yes. Music, recording, computer stuff.
Did you get a lot done?
So I actually got certification for web development over like a span of 5 months while I was in quarantine.
That's right. And we were talking at your beer release. Aren't you like trying to invent something?
Oh my god, yes. The automatic golf cart.
Yeah. Like a Roomba.
Exactly.
That carries golf and
your robot caddy.
If I remember right, the issue is the torque and horsepower and battery life to move that kind of mass, right?
Ultimately,
because the simple technology is there.
Yes, but ultimately the issue is that like I'm not a smart man and I don't know these things.
You just have a great idea.
Yeah.
Well, that's how a lot of them start, man.
So we'll see if that pans out.
I want an automated roadie.
Oh my God.
Like I want you to build this thing to where it can move my amp for me.
That sounds great. We got for those 2 shows we just played, I bought a hand cart and I felt like that was a huge upgrade. So I was excited about
dude. Nice. Like a dolly hand cart.
Yeah, the one where
That's
you
sick.
like pull the handle out and like put it in vertically.
What do you have for like tour cases? Do you have like because I want to get the setup where everything is in the road case. So literally you just pull the front and the back off and the head and the cab are right there. I hook up one wire. I fucking plug it in.
Yeah.
Open my board, plug that in through my effects loop, and I'm ready.
So that's like kind of what I have going on. I used to have that PVJSX that was like my amp, and then I got an Axe Effects, and I had this really sick road case. It had like casters on the bottom, and it was huge. It was like 3.5 feet wide by like 1.5 feet deep, and like you could store your head, store your Axe Effects. Like we stored like our interface in there and all of that. But then like we downsized and now we just have like road cases that are 6U, so like six spaces tall. And then it's very similar to what you described. I think Adam and Dustin have a little less setup on like their rack units going on, but it is like pop the front off, plug it into your cabinet, hook up the other connections.
Dope. And you use an Axe Effects too?
Yeah. Yep. Axe 2.
That's pretty cool. We've been talking about that, man. So I understand the superiority of these modeling amps, the versatility of them. I understand that they're lighter. And if you know what you're doing and you can dial in tone, I get it. They can get crushing tone. I can't do it, therefore I don't use them, and I hate them.
Well, and I'm sure that.
But just so people understand, it's my fault. It's not the amp's fault. This is just my stupid opinion because I'm also an idiot,
and that goes
and
both
I can't
ways.
make them sound good.
Because there's plenty of people that can't make like a tube amp sound good, but
True.
like have
Very
been
true.
starting with like modeling software either on the computer or like a pod or something like. You know?
Another big thing is I think a lot of guys don't even know the difference between good tone. So they hear something sound good and it like sounds great on record and they think that also sounds good live.
Yeah.
Do you dial in different tones?
Absolutely.
So it's not like you just plug in and go.
Correct.
You take the care in understanding that no, we're recording.
Well, and all of our live tones, the only simulation is the amp block. Like the cabinet, we're still getting the tone from our Orange 4x12s.
And then what do you push a power amp to it, or does the Axe Effects provide power?
Yeah, it's like a crown power amp.
That's what my bassist does. My bassist, he has a Sans amp, and that's where he gets his actual tone.
I love Sans amps.
Dude, it's just that little baby box.
So
that's
amazing.
where he gets his tone, but then he runs it through a crown amp, so he gets that real power going back to push the actual drivers / speakers for the non-audio files out there drivers are speakers. They're the same thing. So he was rocking the old Mark Bass 8x10. So it's just thick. And I'm trying to explain this to other guys. I'm like, dude, your little 15-inch speaker ain't cutting it. And they're like, it's super loud. And I'm like, it's not about volume, bro. Like, it's about what it does and the frequencies that it fills within a room or on a record. It's a lot different when you're recording, though. And we were talking about this before the podcast. Like, when I talk about I'll dial in some sweet ass fucking buttery tone, that's live. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I can fucking dial in my amp and it's going to sound good on record. I've done it. It doesn't. It sounds like shit.
Totally different.
It's a totally different skill set.
It's totally different. Like,
and that's where you know a lot more than me, regardless of what type of amp anybody's using.
I just know what I like.
But I've listened to the record. It sounds good. Well, I can't record music and get it to sound like that. I can perform the music and like somebody else can fucking make me sound good. But that's a whole second skill set.
So, like, I was really...
So props to you, my man.
Thank you. I can't take credit for how this last one sounds. Like, Dustin and I really did a lot of the recording and editing process, but Ryan Latrue knocked it out of the park for us. Like,
it's, dude, fucking, that Castle Walls, it's not the actual ending riff, because the riff is technically used at least once earlier in the song.
Sure.
But it's both parts. It's not just the solo part or the second guitar riff. However, I don't know how everybody describes these differently,
potato,
right?
Potato. It's
like a solo for me is like an improvisational part where the guy's almost singing on guitar, and things almost never repeat themselves.
That's like my second lead part. I don't call it a solo because Dustin does the solos. Like, I can't touch his skill level with that. But like, I just wrote a lead. Like,
right. No, and it's dope, dude. Like, and it's one of those parts where I listen to both guitar players simultaneously because the two make the whole part. It's like down, 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 down. Dude, it's a banger, dude.
Thank you so much.
And there's a bunch of dope shit that you guys have, but that one's been stuck in my head for a while because you sent me that one and Dustin sent me that, so I used them for promo materials. And dude, that fucking riff, dude, it's a banger and it sounds good. I've listened to it in the car. I've listened to it on headphones. Like, it's mixed well. It sounds good. And I'm not gonna lie, you can't get that tone from an amp like mine. Like, that's the other thing. That versatility, that tone you get, you're not getting that out of my amp. You have to. So if you want that sound as well, another feather in the cap of the modeling amps.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like,
so one of my biggest things, I was excited to talk to you about this, is the use cases for modeling amplifiers in a live environment. And one of my buddies, Stephen Lane, told me about this, and it's stuck with me ever since.
Oh yeah, I know Stevie.
I love Stephen.
Shout out to old Stevie. Old Stevie Lane.
Stevie, you're the man, and this is totally from his perspective, but it's totally true because, like, if you're in a live scenario and you put a bunch of mics on cabinets on stage, then you get all the bleed from like the entire stage. But if you're using a DI signal, then like that's just your guitar that is being mixed. There's no like possibility. Well, there's less possibility of feedback. You can push it louder. If you have like an in-ear headphone situation, that's like much easier to control, like just hearing like your guitar parts in your ear. I don't know.
If the PA is superior enough to handle it.
There's a lot of variables.
Because that's why I stick with this style rig, is because I've been in too many shit situations where I'm like, I'm still fine.
Yep.
And I watch every other band fall apart. And it's not me being arrogant. It's me understanding my rig is capable of handling this room.
Exactly.
If it needs to. Don't worry about miking me up.
Well, and how
I brought an extra long guitar cable. Just put my cab back there. And let me go to 6 instead of 3.
Exactly. And how common is it to like go to a hole in the wall bar venue and like their PA is just shot, and it's just like, I don't want to rely on people to run like my DI sound through their like crappy PA. Like, that's not going to be what I want at all.
Hells yeah, man. And here's the other thing too, is like, do you like in for the modeling amps, it's the first question is way more important, is do you have the ability to get the tone you want out of it, right? And then for me in the tube amp, it's like, do you like the tone?
Yeah.
So people try to argue whether, you know, a Marshall or a Mesa or a 5150 is superior, and it's like, dude, like, if you don't like the tone that this other amp creates, it's for you, it's not better. And that's what we were making the artist analogy earlier. It's like all of these things have their application, and I guarantee you, if I were to join a band that sounded like yours, I would probably not even try to argue about my 5150. I would be like, for this style, I just gotta get
5150s are so great.
I gotta get one of these amps though. Like, it's just not gonna sound right. I'm gonna sound different in not a good artistic creative way. It's gonna be in a really clunky, what the fuck's up with that other guy's tone way.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm a huge believer that the two guitar players should match guitar rigs. So the bass tone, the foundational tone is the same. Switch up your guitar, switch up your pedal setups, do whatever the fuck you want on that end of things to achieve your personalized take on the tone. But so if you have an Axe FX, Duder should have an Axe FX. If you have a Kempler, Duder should have a Kempler. If I got a 5150, you should have a 5150. And depending on the tone that we're going for in that band and money, that's the other thing. Y'all's amps are fucking expensive, man.
Dude, it's been like a slow building process though. Like, I just spent the last like 3 months refitting like my head situation, and but
the only other thing I could even try, if I'm like trying to make arguments as to why there might be a flaw with that, is I also believe like the tube amp shit, it's like a real guitar. Like, it holds its value better if it's a legit piece of gear.
Sure.
Like those Axe FX ones became almost worthless immediately as soon as the 2 came out.
Yeah.
So it's like you're almost getting into like a cell phone style game where it's like, oh, the new one came out and fucking. But I don't know if that's actually true or gonna be true long term, but that's just like my paranoia on technology like that. But again, it's a fucking modeling amp. Like, it can still do anything.
So you're totally right. And like, I'm gonna go back to my analogy about like painting a picture and like using acrylic paint versus like watercolors or whatever. Like, it's all gonna be a color, and like if you can get the paint color that you want, like
right.
Bill Jarda, are you familiar with that band? Like
no, I don't think I am.
Okay, they're really sick.
Finally, somebody brings up a band I haven't even heard of.
Oh, you gotta check out Bill Jarda. They're really great. But
Phil Jarda?
Bill Jarta.
Bill Jarta.
It's like Swedish for wild heart.
Oh, that's probably why I haven't heard him.
No, it's so sick.
Fucking Swedes are weird fucking
like
people, man.
What humanity's last breath.
I'm just kidding. I got followers and subscribers in Sweden. I'm just fucking with you.
It's like what humanity's last breath started as, if you've listened to them. Like that really fall, like... Okay. Yeah, I don't know.
Interesting.
But my point was, they used a Pod 2.0 for like...
John, what was your point?
Yeah, my point was...
You son of a bitch.
They used a Pod 2.0, and
don't get distracted.
When they flew over here to perform on like Summer Slaughter Tour or something like that.
Line 6 Pod?
Line 6 Pod 2.0, sure. Like old.
Yeah, I remember my old guitar player had one. They sounded like shit.
I had one of those, and that was my first like...
I mean, they sounded good... Until you heard them next to something that actually sounded good.
No, they sounded like shit. We don't have to sugarcoat it.
Dude, no, I'm saying like they sounded really good until you heard them next to something that actually sounded good.
Yes.
And then you were like, oh, fuck.
Well, and this
was
like,
a huge waste of money.
Well, like what you can do with it, and like with Pro Tools and like post-processing and stuff like that, it's incredible what's like totally possible. But yeah, I don't know. I think if you can make a sound happen that you're happy with on like a Kemper or an Axe FX or a Pod or like some of those new computer, what's the one? Like that new Gojira tone pack.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, and it's a stupid argument because it's like, what's better, solid state or tube amps? It's like, again, can you get it to sound good? Because I can't get a solid state amp to sound good. Therefore, I stick with tube amps. Unless it's like, you remember the fucking, Was it the JZ 120?
I can't say I'm familiar.
It's the solid state Roland amp that Metallica got their clean tone from through like Metallica's staple clean tone on record, not live, but on record. It was like a Roland, I think Roland JZ 120. It's a solid state fucking combo amp. And if you grabbed the right guitar and plugged in and just did some very simple touches and played any acoustic Metallica riff, Master Puppets 1, it was like, oh my god, that is that is the tone. Like,
it's so cool to have like such an iconic sound to like have people seek out like recreating it.
It is so fucking wild, dude. Yeah, that like this one amp. That's just, and that's the point I'm getting at, is like, it really doesn't matter, because you might run into a situation where that's the only amp that can create that tone. And on record, do whatever the fuck you want. It's really a question of like, can you do this reliably on stage?
Exactly.
That's what it really boils down to. And with those modeling amps, you can, especially if you have a working patch bay, because you can switch between different combinations of effects, entire rigs from song to song or part to part.
Yeah. That's
pretty impressive.
That's one of the huge benefits that I feel like we've always capitalized on, is like the MIDI patch change situation and like not having to tap dance on a pedal board anymore. To,
you know what else is nice about your guys' shit is you can record at literally any volume you want,
100%.
Including silent. You can DI straight out of your rig and record that way if you really wanted to. That is a huge problem with an amp like mine. You know, we always brag about the headroom, but it's like, dude, my tone sounds like shit unless I'm flirting with 3 or 4.
Yeah.
And most venues, they'll yell at you if you even get close to 3. And that's between 3 and 4 is when my amp starts to sound good. Yep. So I get it, dude. It is what it is.
In 2009, I was recording music with one of my friends. His name's Noah Hickman. Noah, you're the man. We were recording in this rented house near St. Thomas at the time, and we had like 2 rooms upstairs. My bedroom was like the control room or whatever, and then the other bedroom we put my amp in and like a microphone. And one day we forgot to close the window, and so we were just like cranking all of this stuff through this amplifier, and the cops came and like knocked on the door and said like, "What the hell are you guys doing?"
That's fucking wild, dude.
Oh, thank you.
This is a watermelon beer. Hold on, it's weird. Let me read it to you. It's a ghost style ale with watermelon juice, key lime juice, chili peppers, and sea salt.
Interesting.
Not bad. I tried it last night. Surprisingly decent. It's not as spicy as I'd like.
That's nice.
I'd like it with a little bit more burn, but it'll do. It'll do. It'll do. So, when did you join By the Thousands?
I think it was around 2012. It was a really interesting, like, exposure to those guys. I was going to McNally Smith College of Music in St. Paul when that was still a thing. I had a recording class with this guy named Colin Schwanke, who ended up being like one of my really good friends. We ended up living together. His roommate and cousin was Adam Sullivan, who plays bass in By the Thousands now. Or he's always played bass. But yeah, so I went to a practice. I saw what they were doing, and it didn't really like grab me right away at the time. And so we went home, and a couple months later, Colin, Adam, and I were all living together, and Adam comes home and he's like, "Yo, check out this new demo that my band By the Thousands just cut." And I heard it, like, oh my God, like there's something here. Like I wasn't doing anything at the time. And I was like, I need to like hop on board here.
Yeah.
And so like reached out to Dustin, met up with those guys, and started like producing some stuff that could be like new By the Thousands tunes, and they were digging like what I was writing. And then after that, we wrote like 2 songs that we I don't think we have them out anymore.
Like you never released them, or you released them temporarily?
Oh, we released them, but I think we like pulled them down or something like that. I don't really remember the whole deal. We never like put it out on a CD or anything like that. But for like a year, it was just us in that like East St. Paul house, and we were just recording tunes in the basement. And that was what the EP is like those 5 songs.
And that's still out.
That's still out. Yeah, it's got the big hand on the cover. If you go to like iTunes,
should we play some music for people so they have some reference?
Maybe that redesign that's off there.
Which one was that again? Do you remember what order we put that in? Was it the third one we put in?
It was the one with the reference. It was like, this was our oldest song.
Let's see if we can figure this out.
Any of them will be great.
I think it's the third one. I think we put that in reverse order because I wanted to do them in a different way, and then one of them didn't work, so we fucking pivoted. Oh, trust me, bro. I fucking know. All right, we're back. Let me get that media screen out there. There we go. But yeah, dude, I was cracking up because I was like, nah, that it's a whole nother level. And those guys, anybody wants to try to give you guys shit about that, fuck them, because ATB invented a genre.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, this is what I don't think people understand about that band. If you like really follow the music industry and how it all went down, like, they basically birthed something called Midwest hardcore for a while. And it wasn't until Meshuggah blew up again. They were already huge, right, but they blew up like to a next level. And then after the Burial kind of evolved their sound to be more like Meshuggah, in that gent style. That's when gent became a word. Yep. Kids started coming in like, I want to buy a guitar, I want to make gent music, and we'd roll our eyes at Guitar Center and like, oh, 7 strings are over there. You know what I mean? Like
the 3 that we have are over
the fucking remember the Ibanez. That Ibanez 7 strings actually pretty decent. Like the 500, 600. It was $500-600 back then.
RG7 4
maybe
20.
It had like sort of a Les Paul style body. It was a solid neck. It wasn't a bolt on. Like it was like actually
a Les Paul.
Sort of. Yeah.
I don't remember that one.
Yeah, and it was like a cheaper guitar, but it was actually like, if you're gonna like go entry level on a 7-string, that's the only one I would recommend, because there was only 2 other ones like you just said on the wall until you got up to like the Prestige and shit up there. Yeah. But yeah, it was like that one, and they'd be like, "What about this one? It looks cool." And I'm like, "No, this one." Why? Like, trust me.
I feel like after the Burial and Acacia Strain were the 2 bands that like got me out of that like Slipknot, Darkest Hour, As I Lay Dying phase and into like Midwest hardcore, or just hardcore in general. Yep. And I remember hearing it at first and being like, I can't really get down with this. Like, it's not shreddy. It's not like
really.
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know what my disconnect was.
For me, it was, dude, I heard Forging a Future Self right after it dropped with the original version with Nick Wellner on it.
Yes.
Me and my band Solace and Ashes were on our way to Iowa to play a show. And I think Pat Rulin threw it in the CD player on the way down there, and literally that fucking
oh my god, how about Pie?
I was like, but that opening riff, and I was literally laying down like I did before every show. I would almost go into like same thing I did before football games. You know, everybody else is getting all jacked up and hyped, like, oh yeah, yeah. I'm doing the opposite. I'm going into like a meditative coma. Like I'm almost sleeping, like especially on the trip to the venue, to the show, those kind of things. And I sat up and I was like, what the fuck is this? And the way I said it, I think they thought I was going to be annoyed, like, turn this shit off. And I was like, turn this up. And we listened to that whole record twice on the way there. And it changed the way I approached my own songwriting.
Same.
Immediately, I was like, holy fuck, I never thought about this. Like, I never thought about writing a song that way. I never thought about approaching that style riff that way. And it completely changed our band. It completely changed our scene. It completely changed a lot beyond the Midwest and Minnesota. And so if somebody wants to give you shit for having a riff that sounds like them, or it's in the style that they did, fuck them.
It's a swung riff. I'm sorry, everybody.
Here's what you do from now on. You go, yeah, we know it's an homage. We're paying homage to ATB with that riff. I do that all the time. I'll do that shit all the time, bro. I'll write a riff and I'll be like, check this out. There, if you catch it right here, there's an homage to Pink Floyd in 3, 2, boom, and then it hits and people go, oh my god, that, and I'm like, have a cigar. That if it's not exactly like it,
I love that,
but it's
song.
an homage to that one section of that song.
Album. Despondency is an homage to Welcome to the Machine.
There you go.
If you play them on YouTube, if you open up it in 2 different browsers, it's the same key.
No shit.
Same chords. It's like the same progression. It was unintentional, but like it was the craziest. Yeah, I love that song. I love that album.
That's dope, dude.
I got to say one thing while we're still on the topic of After the Burial. Seeing them live for the first time absolutely changed my whole perspective.
Too late, we just ended that topic. I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
I was 16 years old, and my mom drove me up to the Twin Cities. I'm from like an hour south of here, south of the Twin Cities.
So by the time you were 16, they were probably already pretty big.
It was Nick Wellner's farewell show at the Triple Rock.
Oh, got you. Okay.
And I got there and it was sold out, and I drew on my hand with Sharpie like the design that the stamp was, and I just showed the guy, and I got in, and I got to see after the burial,
because they can't fucking tell if it's sweated.
Dude, yeah, no, it was so
up.
packed. I don't think they cared at that point, but like one of the coolest shows that I've ever been to. It was just off the wall energy. Like,
dude, ATV at the Triple Rock back in the day was insane. It was like a game changing experience, because it was one of the first times I realized you didn't need the biggest room and the biggest crowd to throw the best show.
Absolutely. The smaller the better, almost at that point. Like,
guys were too worried about getting 1,500 people into the Rock or Star Central. And I'm like, dude, put 500 to 800 people at fucking Triple Rock and then come talk to me, because those shows are insane.
I'm so sad that the Triple Rock is gone.
Yeah, that was another devastating blow, dude. We gotta fucking, and that's our fault. This is what I keep trying to tell people. It's our fault as musicians for not being profitable. That's why we lose venues, because good venues like the Triple Rock and the Urban Wildlife need to make money in order to stay open, so we can play there.
Where was Urban Wildlife?
That was downtown Minneapolis, directly across the street from Pete's Luce.
Oh, no way.
It was fucking sick, dude. You could barely get 300 people in that fucking building, and you'd get done, you'd walk across the street, grab a couple of slices, and fucking, dude, and I lived in Northeast, so I could jump on the bus and go home. Like, I never was allowed to do that, though. I had to go back to St. Paul and unload gear, but you get the point. You know what I mean? Like, it was still dope, though, bro. And Urban Wildlife. Star Central was on 40th and Central in Northeast Minneapolis. Suburbs, so shittier. Bigger, though. Like, when we got big crowds out there. Maplewood, the Rock, which is now the Doghouse, the Quest, dude. We lost all the dope venues, dude.
First metal show that I ever went to, my dad brought me to, was at the Quest. It was Trivium, Children of Bodom, and Amon Amarth, and I will never forget that experience. It was like one of the coolest shows. The Quest.
Yeah.
So cool.
What'd you think of Trivium? You like Trivium?
You know, back in the day, like when I was getting Guitar World magazine and like
Matt Heafy.
Yeah, I mean that guy's kind of.
He was supposed to be the next big thing for metal.
I feel like they made a wrong move of like trying to be the next Metallica. Honestly, I digged him when because
I stopped the day I heard him cover a Metallica song. Yeah, I was like, "You're done." Fuck
I saw
you.
them do that live. I forget what show. It was at like the Roy Wilkins Center in St. Paul. It was like some all-day festival, and Trivium was on it, and it was just like the most underwhelming set. Yeah, it was so sad.
I was like, no.
They're great at what they do. He's an incredible guitar player. And
he's too worried about being cool, though.
Exactly.
Like, I can see it in him, his performance. I can hear it in his guitar playing. I can see it in the way he dresses and the way he looks, the way he composes himself. He's so worried about looking and being cool that it's just like, bro, come on, man. Like, show me some nipple, have some fucking fun. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I'm an old school dude like that, man.
Have you seen like the day in the life of Trivium on the road?
You couldn't pay me. You couldn't pay me to watch that. So I have zero interest in getting to know Matt Heafy's daily routine on the road.
It starts out with him doing
no disrespect to Matt Heafy, but I mean, I'm being very disrespectful, so fuck you.
So he does like Brazilian jiu-jitsu and like stretching and like all this crazy stuff, and then he's like, yeah, I play guitar for like 6 hours a day, and then he's the only one that has a schedule like that. Everybody else in the band is just like, yeah, I kind of just like play like 15 minutes before we go on stage, and like this is my table in the van. And
yeah, and it's like he's trying to be Eddie Van Halen in that regard, because there's this famous story about Eddie Van Halen locking himself in the bathroom of his hotel room for 4 hours on his honeymoon because he had to play guitar. It wasn't an option that he didn't. Eddie didn't tell that story. Eddie wasn't shooting a documentary and putting it out there to make money on. That story later came out in his divorce.
Oh my God.
From his wife. This is why I need a divorce. Because he's obsessed.
Dude,
and I can't get him to stop.
That's obsession.
And it's a different level. It's authentic. It's genuine. It's deep rooted in his motivation and in his identity as a musician.
Well, it makes you question.
It doesn't feel that way with Matt.
It makes you question too. It's like, we're talking about Matt Heafy and Eddie Van Halen right now. Like, they obviously did something right to like make sure,
fair,
you know.
Fuck,
but
fair.
Like, I mean, at what cost? At what cost is it worth it to like get to that point? You know what I mean?
There's another guy in that same world, in that same genre, and it might have been Matt Heafy's lead guitar player for all I fucking remember. I remember them talking about how they painstakingly go through every solo to make sure that every note is perfect. And I just remember thinking about like Eddie Van Halen and Kirk Hammett and all these other great guitar players and lead guitar players and soloists from the 80s. They would wing it and then be like, I like that one. And then they'd have to go back and relearn it.
Yeah.
Because they improv'd it and just grabbed it on record. Boom, that's the one. Like, I don't know. It feels like they're. It just. I'm just. It feels like they're trying too hard.
Like the new guys,
Matt Heafy specifically, but Trivium in general. Like when I listen to their music, it's like they're trying too hard.
Yeah.
That's not actually an insult either. It sounds like an insult. It's one of those bands I've never been able to get into, and I tried really hard at the beginning, and as soon as I heard that Metallica cover, I was done. I was like, nope, I'm out. I don't know why.
Well, I questioned like the significance of them like trying to cover, like they had already gotten established at that point, and like they were playing like huge tours, huge shows, like festivals, whatever. But then why do you have to do that? Like you're not Metallica, they're Metallica. Like you're Trivium. Like keep being Trivium.
One of those bands that it's like there's certain artists on the don't fucking do that list. Metallica, Pink Floyd is one of them too. Unless you're Skywind, because they did a banger cover of The Wall.
Oh, like the full album?
No, the song. Okay. They did The Wall, and it was amazing. And it was like, okay, well,
I want to show you.
That shoots this theory right in the foot. But for the most part, this is still true. Another one, Michael Jackson. Don't cover Michael Jackson. Don't cover Metallica. Very rarely should anybody ever try to cover the Beatles. Like, there's certain artists you just don't fucking cover.
Yeah.
Guns N' Roses. One artist has tried to cover Guns N' Roses. Do you remember who it was?
I can't say that I
remember. Sheryl Crow did a cover of Sweet Child of Mine.
Big Daddy. They play that song in Big Daddy. It's
if I
Crow.
remember right, I think she got death threats over it.
Oh my god!
And if not, she should have. Don't do that. Don't cover Guns N' Roses.
I got to text the guys and tell them that the Guns N' Roses cover is off right now.
No, have you guys ever considered a cover?
Never. Well, I guess there was one time when there was talk about like a Pantera cover, but it just never came to fruition.
That's a dumb idea. Don't do a Pantera
I've never
cover.
Been about.
No, if you're going to do a cover, especially you guys, you got to go the Reaping Asmodea route.
Oh my god, I don't know if we could.
You know they tried to cover Footloose.
What?
Yeah.
They
have a recorded version, and every once in a while they'll play it live. They did. Yeah.
I have never seen this, but I want.
Gotta say the Footloose. Yeah, they do it. It's rare, but they do it. But I think that's what metal bands should be doing, is songs that are now corny and just completely put them into your style as if you wrote that chord progression. So basically, if there's like a dominant riff, okay, you keep that riff or pay homage to that style or whatever, but then you kind of just like redo the thing to make it sound like you. Misery Signals did an amazing cover of a Pink Floyd song, by the way.
Us.
Yeah, I think
Us and no, that's Us and Them was Between the Buried and Me. I love Misery Signals. That's like one of my top 3 favorite bands of all time.
Me too.
Hands down.
For me, it's Protest, not in this order, but it's other than Metallica, it's Protest, Coheed, and Misery Signals.
Sure.
Those are my top 3. Like current, those are my top 3 favorite bands.
Absolutely.
Other than Metallica.
I feel like Misery Signals is like my number 1 most influential band to listen to. I love Devin Townsend when I'm feeling good.
Yeah.
Dude, I just crank Devin Townsend. I love him so much. And his production is amazing. Like his involvement with recording music. He's produced like so many sick bands that I've loved over the years.
Misery Signals, Pink Floyd.
I'm really curious about this.
Cover.
Like 2 of my favorite bands.
It is Us and Them.
Really? No
they
way.
They even apparently made a video.
Wow.
Wish we could play it. Brandon, if you're watching this podcast, which I don't know why you would, him and I used to talk on Facebook way back in the day before his band got super big. For real. I almost took online and in-person drum lessons from him, actually. Yeah. He's
a monster, honestly.
I think he's one of the best drummers on the planet.
I agree.
Brandon Morgan is one of the most elite drummers on the planet. For me, it's him. Sneaky one, no one ever brings up Carter Beauford from Dave Matthews Band. One of the greatest drummers on the... Oh, my God, dude. The guy's one of the best. He's so good, dude. Oh, my God. Carter Beauford is like... Oh, fuck. He's so good, dude. Yeah, him, Brandon Morgan. Those are the two top. For me, at least. There's a lot of other motherfuckers I really like, but like those two dudes are on some other shit where I'm like, all right, well, that's a thing then. It's like being a comedian and then opening for Dave Chappelle.
Yeah.
It's
my God.
Oh, okay. Well, okay.
Hurry up and get through your set. We want to hear Dave.
There's another rung to this. No matter how good I think I am, there's still a Dave Chappelle doing what I'm doing on drums, and that's, like I said, there's two of them offhand, top of the head: Carter Beauford, Brandon Morgan. But you're a guitar player, and I also play guitar. What about guitar players? Who are huge influential guitar players for you?
So
I'm so fucking tired. I'm already slurring my words. I don't even have a buzz. I'm just exhausted, dude.
I feel it.
Hope I'm not being too boring for you and for all the viewers.
Far from it. I'm enjoying this.
Yeah, maybe they're enjoying it more too. We're getting less comments, which means maybe we're not annoying people. I don't fucking know.
You're just fixated.
Let's go with that. That makes me feel better on the inside.
I don't really know about like I feel bad saying this, but like there are very few guitar players where I'm like, oh my God, I worship this guy because he's so fucking good at guitar.
Fair, but who are the ones that influenced you? Like, who's the guy that you were like, I want to be a guitar player?
So I don't know. I'm so bad with names, but like I love Whitechapel. Honestly, one of the most formative bands for me was Whitechapel. Another one was Misery Signals, and the other one was The Faceless. So Michael Keane, I love his riffs. I love how like weird it all is.
What's the name of the other Morgan brother? Because they're twins, or maybe they're not twins, but they're brothers. Brandon from Misery Signals, Brandon Morgan, and who's the brother? Because he's the main guitar player. He's the one that writes all the fucking banger riffs. They've had two other guitar players in that band.
I couldn't tell you.
No,
I really can't. Again, like I'm so bad with names, but I just like digest all these albums so much. Like just, I don't know. Alex Wade, he's from Whitechapel, and I think he's kind of like the mastermind for writing the riffs. That guy's really, really good.
Gone. Oh, they're talking to you. Mark Simmons says, shout out to Mark Simmons hanging out in chat. Thanks, buddy.
Mark.
If you haven't done it already, please hit subscribe. We're still on that grind to 1,000, man. We got to hit 1,000 before YouTube monetizes us. That's why it's important. So
make it happen, people.
Please hit subscribe, you guys, if you haven't already. But he says, yeah, John, love me some Whitechapel.
They're so good.
Maybe I need to take a look at some Whitechapel.
Oh my God. Somatic Defilement was like 2009-ish when I was listening to that album. So
what was
good.
It?
The Somatic Defilement. So good. It was like early deathcore.
It's such a ridiculous album name.
So good.
It's such a ridiculous album name, dude.
Oh my God. And then New Era of Corruption. I think that's like my favorite Whitechapel album. So good. They have Chino Moreno from Deftones on a track on that album.
Oh no shit.
So good. Yeah, I don't know.
Did Chino die?
No,
who's the guy from Deftones that died?
Chi Chang, their bass player. Yeah.
Dude, did I tell you? I'm sure I didn't tell you. If I can raise enough money through like the Patreon and getting enough subs and doing all this, and I can set up me getting to LA and getting like an Airbnb for a couple weeks, Deftones, Tesla, and Papa Roach.
God. I
can get them all on the podcast.
Dude, okay. Speaking
It'd be
of
dope
Deftones,
to get the Deftones, because I'm not a big fan of any of those bands.
Oh my God.
I'm not a fan at all of Papa Roach. In fact, I've talked a lot of shit about Papa Roach. Like, I've talked so much shit about Papa Roach that I have to immediately address that.
You got to only talk about him as a last resort.
I was gonna follow up, but I'm deciding to pass on this moment.
I will say Deftones is
that would be dope though, because a lot of people love that band. Yeah. So, and I could do that podcast because I'm not a fan. I was trying to explain this to somebody, like I could not do a podcast with James Hetfield because I would be way too much of a fanboy. There's no I wouldn't stop talking. I would be telling him shit for 3 hours.
Did you guys know that you did this in this year?
Oh my God. And you did, because of you, I did this. And it would just be so horrible. But you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You guys are different. All you guys so far that have come, because you're all peers. Like we all fuck with the same people. We're all on the same level. You start fucking with dudes on that scope. I can't be a fan if I'm going to do a podcast with you because I can't risk. Like I would even be able to do Tool. Even though I'm technically a fan of that band, I'm not a fan of anyone in that band to geek out level. See what I mean? But I couldn't do James Hetfield because oh my God, I don't even know if I'd be able to speak.
Yeah.
I'd either be super awkward or I wouldn't shut up. It'd be one of the two. There's no way we'd be able to have an actual chill hang like we're having right now. I'm just willing to admit that. But no, I might be able to do Deftones.
So
that's
good.
A popular one.
That is the first band with harsh vocals that I really liked, and it was in like 5th grade when I heard Deftones.
So you were a fan of them before White Pony?
Absolutely. Well, I don't know. What year did White Pony come out?
I don't know, but it was like their 2nd or 3rd or 4th album or some shit. They had already been pretty popular and successful for a while, and I'm just gonna be honest. I fucking hated that band.
Damn. That makes me sad.
I hated that band, and then White Pony came out, and I was like, okay, these guys are actually kind of good. And I stopped hating them, but I never fell in love with the band like everyone else did.
So Stephen Carpenter, their guitar player, I think one of his big influences is Meshuggah. And I don't know the significance of that, but like that really,
interesting.
Yeah, that's why he plays like extended range instruments for them and always has.
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Shout out to Mark Simmons, says, This Is Exile is where I got into Whitechapel.
Yes, love This Is Exile. So good.
I'll have to check them out, man.
Exalt, Possession, those are all...
So what is it that sticks out about that band? What makes them so dope?
So when I was in high school, I was in a band called Damietta, and we played in Drop A, and Whitechapel played in Drop A, but they played in 7-string tuning. So... that like always having access to playing other bands that were in Drop A and just like the deathcore nature.
So what are you playing on the 7th string if you're already in Drop A? What is the 7th string?
Oh well, the low 7th would be Drop A, and then the rest of your instrument is standard 6-string guitar.
Oh, yeah. That's how y'all motherfuckers are doing.
Yeah.
So you're just playing a typical power chord on the bottom.
Well, it'd be like a...
or is it still a bard?
Be like a bar chord on the lower ones, but then anything past...
So you get 3 bars, basically, on the bottom. So you don't have to power chord it out on those low 2 strings.
Well, it's like having Drop A where you can bar it there, but then you can still do all your standard 6-string, standard tuning stuff as well.
Yeah, but... so...
it's like A, E, A, D, G, B, E.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I've been fucking with that thing. That's a piece of shit. But it's actually not. It's actually a very well built guitar.
Like flamed maple, is that the situation?
Yeah, the neck. Yeah. And that's also a neck through. It's also a multi-ply neck through guitar. It's actually an incredibly well built guitar.
Do you prefer neck throughs?
I think it is a superior build. Yeah.
Sure.
Especially if it's plied.
You notice like a tone difference between like bolt-ons and neck throughs?
I do think, well, yes and no. So when it comes to like a Fender, obviously it's irrelevant because they're all bolt-ons, right? But that attributes to its tone. But mathematically, it's quite hard to argue with. The physics are there that a neck through is going to give you greater resonance throughout the body.
Absolutely.
And I'm sorry, I disagree with guys who are like, I don't believe in tone woods. It's like working at GC
totally is a thing.
Working at GC when it was dead, we would take the cheapest Gibson possible, but still solid body. You know what I mean? Like we'd still American wood, all that shit, right? And then you'd fucking just like one of the tricks we would do is set it on one of the repair cabs. because it just the natural
Resonates.
guitar resonation through that would create its own almost speaker.
Yeah.
And that's where we would really hear like, and on a cheap, shitty guitar that's glued together, it just sounds stiff.
Yeah.
And it doesn't ring the same. And that does matter, man. That does come through, bro.
Dude, Adam, our bass player,
This is my opinion. I'm not saying I'm right.
He has a bass that's 100% zebra wood.
No shit.
Everything is zebra wood. The neck, the body, like the whole shebang. It's so interesting.
I wonder what that would sound like if that's actually good, because I've heard the argument that like the art of guitars is mixing woods
Right.
to get a distinct tone instead of like, that's why nobody makes an all ebony guitar. Not only would it be expensive, but it would sound like shit.
Yeah.
It's too dense. You know what I mean?
I thought working at Guitar
I don't know. It's
Center,
interesting though. Yeah.
and then like understanding the market for like ebony wood, stuff like that, and how rare it is. And
Yeah.
they only cut down like a certain number of ebony trees a year or something like that. It's so amazing.
And it's the only wood that sinks, right?
What
If
do
I
you
remember right.
What do you mean sinks? Oh, like in water sinks.
Yeah.
Oh wow. I don't
If
think
I remember right, because it's so dense
Sure.
that it'll sink in. If I remember right, ebony is the only wood that'll sink in water.
That's so amazing.
If I remember right, I might be wrong on that, but
Jacob Muley, he really likes those Bubinga Warwicks.
yeah, the Warwicks. Yeah, he's obsessed with the Warwicks.
Absolutely.
Oh, Jakey Poo, I miss him so much.
He's the best.
I loved that guy so much, dude.
So good.
He was the best. Oh, Jakey Poo.
Shout out Jake. If you're there, you're the man. You think you're great.
Oh, Jakey Poo. There's so many people from Guitar Center that I added on. Anthony Darst. I don't know if you worked with him.
No, I didn't.
He might have already been gone by the time you started at GC, but I call him Darsty Poo. Jakey Poo. There's a bunch of them motherfuckers because I just love them motherfuckers so much, dude. Jakey Poo. Darsty Poo hated it so much that when he came and did the podcast, he brought me one of his hats, but he brought me a pink one. And he goes, you get the pink one for calling me Darsty Poo. And I was like, bitch, I don't think you understand. I got you programmed in my phone as Darsty Poo. Like, I don't just call you Darsty Poo, bro. You are Darsty Poo.
It is who you've become.
Hell yeah. So you guys actually just finally had a show back after like 2.5 years or some shit, or a year and a half, or
it was like
pandemic plus. Let's just call it that. The amount of time was pandemic plus.
So I think December 1st pre-pandemic was the last show that we played. It was something early December that we played. It was a tour with Oceano that we did. But then we got lucky. We got on 2 shows with Carnifex on their like Road to Rockfest, I think it was. But one of them was...
That's much better. Sorry, guys. I had to fix his camera.
It was some venue...
I should fix my own, too, but fuck it. I'm lazy. Try to lift it up. We'll see if it works. Yeah. Yeah, that's good enough. That'll work.
There you go. But yeah, Carnifex. It was super sick. Those are the first 2 shows that we've played in like 500 some days. It was amazing, like when the first sound sample leading up to like when we all come in happening, like the last 4 counts, I was just like, oh my god, what do I do right now? Like I forgot how to perform, and then it all came back. It was so much fun. Felt so good to be sore again after like playing a show.
Yeah, it's weird because I hadn't fucking jammed with anybody in a long time, and just getting into a rehearsal space and running through songs, I hadn't slept that well in years. There's something so therapeutic about performing music physically.
Yes.
Like it's the physicality with the emotion, with the dopamine drain, because not only do you get the high, but you also get drained of it and go to bed.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know, man. It's fucking...
It feels good.
It's a real privilege.
It feels so good to be...
It's a real
back
fucking privilege, dude.
We lucked out, and there was a member change through the pandemic for By the Thousand. So
that's right. You guys switched drummers.
That's right. Yep. Carlos, love you. You're the man. But we got Matt Grozdanich playing drums.
Should we make up something about Carlos? That's a tradition on this podcast. On this tradition, we make we make up horrendous rumors about people that aren't here to defend themselves. And we make them so ridiculous that they're literally unbelievable.
He's not really a vegetarian.
That's not crazy enough. His name's Carlos.
Carlos.
Is he Latino?
I think like, I mean, yes and no. Yeah.
Okay. The fake rumor is that he's actually secretly a white supremacist. There we go.
God. He would totally disagree with that. He would
That's the point.
Disagree with that.
And as a Jew, I fully endorse it. I'm speaking for all the Jews right now. No, seriously, we have been doing this though because it's fun. It's hilarious. It's hilarious to start fake rumors, and especially if they're in on it. That's the point. Is like we're saying it's fake up front. So like
he's a pretty firm activist against white supremacy.
That's why it's hilarious.
With all the shit that's happened.
That's why it's. I didn't know that.
Oh,
but
yeah.
That makes it way more funny. That makes it super fucking funny. Yeah, and like the whole point is like we're telling everyone we're making this up. So him and everyone are already in on the joke. That's what makes it funny.
But if you're not here and you don't hear it, totally true.
If you're not here and you don't hear it, it's totally true. That was pretty funny. That was pretty good.
Yeah, getting to rehearse. It was like 2 months leading up to these two shows that we were getting back in. Matt learned like the whole set.
That's the new drummer.
Yeah.
Not a white supremacist.
Not a white supremacist.
That's what we should do is make up the rumor about your new drummer.
Oh God, no.
Believe it or not, he's not a white supremacist. That's the rumor. Believe it or not, he's not a white supremacist.
You might have had preconceived notions about who this guy was. But...
Man, we don't care about what anybody says about you, bro. We believe you're not a white supremacist.
Oh, Matt, I love you. He's watching.
That's the rumor. Matt is secretly not a white supremacist. Believe it or not, he's not a Nazi. Oh, that's fucking funny. Yeah, we made up some crazy shit about each other. Oh my God.
Quad Cities, Mark Simmons. I don't know when we're gonna make it back, but we love the Quad Cities. We're for sure going back there. Have you ever been to the Quad Cities and played
What the fuck is the Quad Cities?
Dude, it's like Davenport, Iowa. That's like one of the cities in the...
I've been in Davenport, Iowa. I do not know if I've played a show in I don't think I have.
It's very unassuming. Like you wouldn't think.
Wait a minute. Davenport, Iowa. Or am I thinking Danville, Illinois?
East of Des Moines.
I think I'm thinking Danville, Illinois, because Danville, Illinois is right on the border of Iowa, if I remember correctly. So no, I don't think I've ever been in or traveled to or played a show down in.
Quad Cities is amazing. We've always had the best times there. We played at
Make it up. Make up the name of the venue.
I think it's the Black Hawk Room.
The Black Hawk Room?
Black Hawk Room. I don't know. It's amazing though. Every time we go
you said Black.
The Black Hawk Room. Yeah. Very intentional about it. Oh, it's great though. I love the Quad Cities. I can't recommend it enough. If you're a band on tour, like go to the Quad Cities.
You're gonna have to take some worthy local bands through there.
Oh yeah.
I mean that's how the old school scene really worked, man, is we built shit and then gave those opportunities to bands. And it sucked because that power went to some of the wrong people and it started to get cliquey. And so the only bands that got opportunities were their friends who they did drugs with. And is what it was supposed to be, and what it should be is that you identify an up-and-coming band, whether they're older than you or younger than you is irrelevant, but they're new, and they have their shit together, they're making the right decisions, and they deserve that type of opportunity.
So we do that.
So you bring them down there.
We do that, but it's less like younger bands or stuff like that. Yeah, because
most of them haven't earned it.
Well, no, it's not like that, but it's like we choose our homies. Like we've toured so many times with Terraform. I love Terraform. I love all those guys in Terraform. With In Search of Solace quite a bit. We actually went to Canada with those guys. That was amazing.
Any band with Solace in the name is a terrible band.
Oh, I disagree. In Solace, In Search of Solace.
I was in a band with the Solace and Ashes.
Oh, I bet they're great too.
It was just a dig on my own band. They're jokes, people. Like when I say anybody with the name Jared is fucking douchebag. Obviously, it's joking because I'm great.
Yes. Yes, you are.
Not a douchebag.
Yeah, far from it.
Okay, maybe a little bit. Okay, maybe a lot of bit.
We all got a little douchebag.
Okay, I'm really trying to not be a douchebag anymore. Anyways, go on.
There's nothing better than traveling with people that you know.
This is getting off the rails.
But I feel like it's interesting. Like, there's so many fun memories that you make with like new people that you meet on the road, and then there's also really great memories that you can like continue to like share with people that you know. Oh, this is great. So is Terraform.
We're back.
They are.
That's hilarious. I just accidentally ended the stream because I'm an idiot.
Happens. The best.
And now it's going to try to play the media again. That's hilarious. Sorry about that, guys. We're back already. There's nothing wrong with your internet. I accidentally just stopped this stream because I wanted to type this.
Oh my god.
I'm probably gonna get flagged on my own YouTube channel. No, it's Black Hawk.
Yes. You gotta go there on St. Patrick's Day. They got like green beer that you can get at the bar there. It's so good.
I thought you were gonna say there's a ton of black guys that show up. I swear that's what I thought you were gonna go with. Like, you gotta show up on St. Patty's Day. There's a ton of black dudes.
Insane.
That's fucking hilarious. Oh, fuck, man. Anytime we talk about dick jokes, it always just makes me think of Jeremy Blake. Shout out to Jeremy Blake. He might even secretly be watching and hanging out. He's just not in chat yet. But, oh my God, dude, that's just fucking funny. I've also been getting into dad jokes.
Oh, they're great.
I love the dad jokes, dude.
Any
Like,
good ones?
I mean, honestly, if I were to tell any dad jokes right now, they would just be regurgitated from things I've recently seen on TikTok.
You heard about the one with the guy walking down the road with a bag of chickens? There's a guy walking down the road with a bag of chickens, and another guy crosses his path, and he says, "Hey, what do you got in the bag?" And he goes, "Got some chickens." He's like, "Oh, well, I guess how many are in there? Can I have them?" And he goes, "Sure, I'll give you both of them."
That's actually one of the worst dad jokes I've ever heard.
It's terrible.
And not in a good way.
It's great.
No, that was really bad. I laughed out of pity for whoever wrote that joke.
I appreciate it.
You wrote that joke?
No, I definitely was in the family. But
I was in the room while it was written. Well, that defaults you to royalties and current. Dude, how do you feel about some of that shit? Some of the plagiarism shit that's been going around, dude, in the music industry. So, like, Robin Thicke gets married or gets sued because him and Pharrell Williams record a song to pay homage to Marvin Gaye. And then it doesn't sound like any Marvin Gaye song, but it sounds like a song Marvin Gaye might have written. Does that make sense?
They got sued for that?
Yeah, and they lost.
What?
Yeah. Yeah. It's because it goes to a jury trial. And the jury of your peers isn't other musicians. It's random assholes from the street who don't get it.
I had no idea any of this was going on.
No shit, huh?
Not a clue.
Yeah, now people are giving Olivia Rodrigo, I think that's her name. They're giving her a bunch of shit for plagiarism because her album cover is similar to someone else's album cover, and her songs are in the same key and chord progression as some other songs. Like one of them's a Paramore song.
And you got to make money some way.
That's not how plagiarism works, though. Like that's literally not plagiarism. You could take any one of my songs and find another song from history and be like, same chord progression. Like, okay. Why you can't copy that's why you can't copyright a chord progression.
I feel like it's so polarized, like the
it's hard
outcomes
enough to make money in this industry.
The outcomes of these like cases where they like try somebody for plagiarism and whatnot. Like, what was the deal? There was something recently, like within the last 5 years of oh god, I don't know. It got thrown out of court, and they were like, no, like this is like free grounds for anybody to like read on. Like it's not
like fair use, like public domain shit.
I don't know. I think it was like public domain, but it was like some major band, and then they were like attempting to sue somebody because they thought that their new stuff sounded like their old, or like the band's old stuff, and it like really wasn't.
Like Greta Van Fleet shit or something?
I just gotta shut up. I don't even know. I feel dumb.
Well, if anybody knows what you're talking about, they should put it in chat.
Please make me look less dumb here. It was some major artist, and I think it went all the way to the.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't think it's good.
Stairway to Heaven. That is what I'm talking about. Thank you so much. You are absolutely right.
Well, here's the funny thing. So they actually stole Stairway to Heaven. Led Zeppelin stole that riff and that song from somebody else.
Hearing about that,
and that is obvious. And we talked about this song earlier, "Sweet Child of Mine." Guns N' Roses stole that song from another band.
Unbelievable.
Like, and those were obvious. And those bands lost to the big bands. They lost to Led Zeppelin. They lost to Guns N' Roses. But now, Robin Thicke creates a song to just pay homage to one of the most prolific singers of all time. And they lose.
That doesn't seem right to me.
It doesn't seem right, man. They got to appeal.
I agree.
I don't think it should be left up to a regular jury of random assholes.
Like relevant people.
Yeah, peers. Yeah. Musicians. Other musicians. Let us decide if you stole that motherfucker. Because we know. Because we understand how hard it is to write something truly original. And we understand how easy it is to steal.
I want that job of like choosing the jury for musician related.
For copyright infringement trials
I want to pick
on
the
music
people
related
for that.
Subjects.
Like, what kind of music do you listen to? Oh, yeah, you're not on this one. You listen to country music.
You lose credibility as a country artist. That's hilarious. Them country boys can rip.
They really can.
Them fucking country guitar players can rip.
All the production.
You want some more of this? It's this one, the watermelon one. If you want some more.
Live.
If you don't like it, you can just grab another one.
No, I really dig it. It's really good.
Light lager, fucking Minnesota Gold or whatever. Shout out to Third Street, I think it's called. Third Street Brewery. Yeah, y'all fucking owe me money, man.
So good.
All this free promo you get on my podcast.
Gotta get that Nuclearis hookup.
I gotta hook up with your boy.
Oh, I
who
know.
did your guys' band. Be like, hey man, let's figure something out. Fucking let's do a sponsorship, man.
They should have that stuff ready.
I mean, literally, if any local brewery reaches out and gives me like a steady supply of like a light lager and an IPA, I will exclusively drink that on the podcast. Unless someone else brings something, or unless I go get something crazy, like something with jalapenos in it. You know what I mean? Like every once in a while we'll... But this will be a staple, and we will make sure to crack those beers on every podcast. Open invite, guys.
Now that you mention jalapeno, I can totally...
Now the spice is there,
really
isn't
good.
it, dude? That's why I keep drinking it, because I was like, ooh, it's spicier than I remember, dude. I like it now. Last night I was like, it's all right. Like, it wasn't spicy enough. Now, today, I'm like, ooh, it's spicy.
Dude, I just tried, I went to Can Wonderland the other day. Have you been there?
Yeah, I've been there.
Love it. The mini golf course is like the coolest mini golf course I've ever been.
That place is cool.
But I tried this Indeed pistachio cream ale there. Probably one of my new favorites. Like, so good.
Yeah, dude. Granite City way back in the day. I told you about that one I made. It was the Serrano double chocolate milk stout.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they did, it wasn't a chocolate stout, it was just a regular, but they did a Serrano milk stout. Dude, this was way back in the day. Granite City of all places. And I rolled up, ordered the steak, got the blue cheese, the mushrooms, the fucking onions, everything. I loaded. Dude, and I'm telling you, it was the best cheap steak I've ever had in my life, and 100% of it had to do with that fucking beer. That beer, dude, was so good that like every bite of that steak was even better. Yeah, dude, I'm a huge fan of the fucking spicy beers. I wish that fad didn't come and go as fast as it did. You ever had the jalapeno sculpin?
Oh.
You ever had sculpin IPA?
I don't think so.
It's like with the little weird fish on the ballast point.
Can't say that.
They used to do a jalapeno one. No, that's wrong. It was habanero. That motherfucker lit my face on fire, bro. Dude, I'd be sweating and shit. I'd literally be like drinking beers and having to dab my face. That actually happened on a podcast one time. I had a comedian on. I got to get Randy back on. Shout out to Randy on Carlo, buddy. Randy comes on, we decide to have Bloody Marys, and I got this like 5-spice Bloody Mary mix. Dude, I was sweating so bad on the podcast, bro. I was like regularly taking paper towels and dabbing my face like, oh my God, I can't handle it. And then he made me go to a comedy show that night. He made me come. He's like, I got a set, and he was secretly trying to get me to go up. He's been trying to get me to go up on stage.
Did you?
No. No, I'm not ready for all that. Because when I decide I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it like right. And I don't have the time or energy to pay that craft the respect it deserves. So right now, I'm just not doing it at all.
Seriously, respect for anybody that can go on stage and talk and like be. Like,
I mean, any craft really.
Yeah.
Like understanding that there's time and skill and dedication and patience that you need to be good at anything.
But still, more so for somebody that uses words as their medium for their like show or performance or whatever. Like, I think the job of a vocalist in a metal band is so much harder than the job of a guitar player. I was literally talking about this the other day, where like as a guitar player,
and you're saying because they use words,
well, yeah,
whereas you use music notes.
Exactly.
Only.
And like when I'm performing on stage, like I'm focused on what I'm doing. I'm usually like hiding behind my hair on stage too. But like the vocalist doesn't have that luxury. Like they have to engage with the audience. And after the show, the vocalist is the first person that the audience wants to go talk to. That's like the most engaged person that they've been with throughout the night. It might vary band to band. Or
make sure you stay real close on that.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're fine.
My bad.
Technically, they can hear you, but slowly it gets quieter and quieter, and then they turn it up.
Getting too passionate.
And then I jump in and I'm fucking.
This opinion.
No, you're fine, dude. I want you to be loud. But it's interesting because when I was a vocalist, I felt like the reason the job was the hardest was because of the judgment.
Yeah.
It's like being a quarterback.
Another reason why I think it's harder, because like
I never even thought about the fact that we're using words as a communicator, right? I never thought about those things.
Well, if you mess up a guitar part live, like that's like a unique, I mean, more unique than like being able to like yell. I mean, it's more than yelling into a microphone, but like being able to like sing or scream into a mic. I don't know. I feel like there's like more that people, they're like layman's will just like let you get away with if you mess up like a note on a guitar riff. Whereas like if you mispronounce a word on stage, everybody's like, I heard that, like that was wrong.
I think I get what you're saying. Especially if you're a band that people are expecting to hear a recreation of the record. You know, and that's a difference in like generations, not genres, not styles, but generations of musicians, right? Like the old school cats that you and I grew up listening to, because you're not that much younger than me. The old school cats that you and I went and watched live never played the version on the record. And the higher level the band, the more it would change if you went and seen them over and over again. Yeah. Like Elton John or Metallica, entire sections of the song will change from one show to the next on the same tour. Like that's as a vocalist, you can face huge criticism if you don't hit your own notes right. Look at Vince Neil.
I gotta I'm really interested in this conversation. Fuck. So okay. Veil of Maya is one of the bands that I think about that does this, where like each song or each show is unique and different. Like I remember seeing them in like 2007 at the Vault in Buffalo, Minnesota. Did you ever go there?
I think so.
Dude,
I think I played there once.
Yeah, one of the like most pivotal venues that I've ever played at. Like I love that. But
was it one of those shit venues where you paid dues and like really understood what it was about, or was it pivotal because it was dope as fuck and
both
great things happened?
Both. There was a lot of paying your dues there, and then there was a lot of like really sick bands that were like really popular at the time coming through there. I've seen like Life Ruiner. I saw Veil of Maya was front row when like Common Man's Collapse came out.
I'm almost positive I played at the Vault.
Dude, it had checkered ceilings. It was like black and white ceilings. It was so sick. But yeah, seeing Veil of Maya there, and this was before they did like the computer situation. Their guitar player Mark had this like loop station, and they would add breaks into their sets so that he could like loop this stuff properly. So it was like a completely different experience, like going to see them live back in the day, because he had like a loop station, a harmonizer pedal, like his chorus situation, like all this crazy stuff, and they were doing it live. It was like one of the coolest shows.
Crazy, because if I remember right, that first album, the drummer recorded the entire thing himself. Wrote and recorded the entire thing himself. Veil of Maya's first album. If I remember correctly, if it's the same band I'm thinking of.
Not the one that they did on Sumerian, right? That was Common Man's Collapse, but there was an album before that.
Maybe. I don't know. And it might not even be the right band.
Okay.
But I think it is. The drummer wrote and recorded everything, I think, except for the vocals.
Oh.
And then filled out the band.
That makes sense. I've heard that the guitar player Mark and their drummer actually don't get along. That could be misinformation, but
it may not even be the right band. I know I'm not making this up. So if I have the wrong band, then I have the wrong band, and I'm literally just talking about it. Could have been Born of Osiris, right? Like, but it's one of those bands from that time. Whether it's Veil of Maya or Born of Osiris, I can't recall. But one of those motherfuckers, he said it was. Shout out to Tyler. Don't know who you are, buddy, but thank you for hanging out with us.
Tyler. You're the man.
If you haven't already, please hit sub. We're still on that grind to 1,000. But he confirms that was Born of Osiris. So sorry.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Born of Osiris. The drummer recorded everything on the first album, I believe, except for the vocals.
Cameron, yeah.
And then filled out the band.
Yep, you're right. You're totally right.
Yeah, my bad. It wasn't Veil of Maya. It was Born of Osiris.
Cameron
but that's just impressive, dude.
Cameron is such an insane musician, like on all fronts. Yeah.
You know, another weird fact, a band we mentioned earlier, most people don't know this, but Use Your Illusion 1 and 2.
Who's this now?
Guns N' Roses.
Okay. Use
Your Illusion 1 and 2. Everything on that record is written by Axl Rose except for the guitar solos.
Wow.
The two-part album. Axl Rose wrote every single part of that entire album except Slash's guitar solos.
Do you think it's more common for artists to do that route where one person is kind of like in charge of like writing everything, or do you think it's more common where people like collaborate?
I think it's definitely more common than that they collaborate. I think there's very few people out there like a Prince or The Weeknd or these guys that we're referring to now. Very few of those people in the world. And I don't necessarily think it's better.
Sure.
I think the greatest music is always a collaboration. And sometimes it's just between two people.
Yeah. Even
in a 4-piece band, there's only 2 real songwriters. Fine.
I will say that that's kind of like the situation for us. I feel like it is unique in that Hondo, our vocalist, he has like
pull that back a little bit.
This way?
There you go.
Hondo, our vocalist, has like a really unique musical background. He used to do mariachi bands, and he's also like a really great like metal guitar player.
Interesting.
And it's so cool. If you ever talk to him about it,
I'd love to have him on the podcast. I met him at your beer release, and I told him, I said, I walked up and shook his hand. I was like, hey man, you ever want to come on the fucking show, just let me know, dude. Open invite, man.
Great guy, great musician. He can write guitar parts. Some of the stuff that he's like shown us before has like absolutely blown our minds. Just like,
would you guys ever consider doing an acoustic set?
Probably not. Okay, there's
it's so hard for your style of music. Can you figure out how to do your music acoustically?
There's a video on my Facebook of Adam and Dustin in our old living room, and Adam had his acoustic bass and Dustin had his acoustic guitar, and they're playing Redesign, that video that you played earlier, and it's just silly, but like, yeah, I don't know, probably not. It's just not what our music is.
Have you ever heard Ebb and Flow by Misery Signals acoustic version?
Yes, I love it.
That's
so
impressive.
Beautiful.
Like, it goes back to that same thing where they did the Pink Floyd cover. It's like, that's a... Okay. When you can take your own music and turn it into a beautiful acoustic piece with no screaming and all singing, which is, if I remember, almost 100% juxtaposition from the actual original. I think there's almost 0 singing in the original version of Ebb and Flow, if any.
No, yeah, there's no singing.
I don't think there is, but there might be like one part because Misery Signals loves to do that. They'll throw a random singing.
I think they have like some chill, like
it is. It's at the
parts.
end. And I can't pretend.
Oh, you're right.
To be a part of
this. Didn't they have Patrick Stump on an album?
I don't fucking know, dude. So but Devin Townsend produced Controller, and it is fucking one of the greatest masterpiece albums of all time.
Have you seen those videos of them like recording with Devin Townsend?
Yeah, and when they had his dad come in
it's
and
like
do the fucking tambourine,
favorite story.
Is that what it is? No,
it's
not
like
a tambourine, a xylophone.
Xylophones, rain stick.
Because he's a world class orchestral musician.
Pit orchestra.
Yeah,
dude.
That dude is like
so cool.
It's in the genes.
Yes,
the whole family's like
and
literally
it's his two
the
sons.
Dopest of dope.
It's
is
his
that
two
your phone
sons.
or mine?
I think that's you.
It's probably me because I have to leave them on if like the feed goes down. Certain people know to text me or call me. Sorry, guys.
That's it. I want Visions of Inner Depth and Toxic Earth now. Acoustic, yeah. Toxic Earth acoustic would be very underwhelming, I think.
Dude, you got to figure out how to do it, man. Flex those musical muscles. Figure out a way to take your brutal fucking metal and do an acoustic. Do it, man. Do 3 songs. Come on the podcast and do it, dude.
Oh, man.
I got the mixer now.
You know, Despondency acoustic would be kind of cool. I don't know how we do
you need 3 songs.
The beginning, but the second half is pretty...
3 songs. We can do like a literal 10 to 15 minute set depending on how long your songs are.
Well, the rest of the boys here, if you're hearing it, we got to start doing
it's not up to them.
Stuff, so.
I'm deciding. I'm the decider. No, that would be cool though if you guys could pull that off. I'm trying to get Johnny Rook to do it. You ever listen to Johnny Rook?
Johnny Rook?
Mm-hmm. Dude, they're old school local, but they're fucking dope, bro. Like, I don't even want to try to tell their story. I'll just send you some music and tell you their story later.
Yes.
Because people have heard, Zach's been on the podcast. People have heard me rant about Johnny Rook plenty. They don't need to hear it again. But
Jason Riviere, that's my cousin.
Oh, shout out to fam.
Jason.
Guys, if you haven't already, hit subscribe. Thank you for jumping in. We're trying to grind to 1,000 subs so we can get paid directly by YouTube. So we got to get to 1,000 subscribers. So please, if you haven't already, hit like and subscribe, share, all that kind of stuff. We're trying to do a thing. We're trying to do a thing here, man. Which again brings me back full circle to thanking you for being on, dude.
Thank you for having me.
You guys are a fucking dope band. You're doing a lot of the right things. You're making good decisions. You're fucking building a following, dude. And we're trying to kind of bring the scene and centralize it so people, like, there's 1 or 2 or 3 podcasts. Try to build a podcast scene around the music scene and the comedy scene. It's not just the music scene. But I mean, we're not being shy about it. Like flat out, the mission statement is if we can do 10% of what Rogan did for the LA comedy scene, if we can just do 10% of that for the Minneapolis music scene, our whole town is going to be gold. Bands become more profitable.
It's worth it. There's so many sick musicians in Minneapolis.
But you know what? There's not. We touched on this. There's no more sick venues because it doesn't matter how many fucking dope bands we have. When we're not profitable, venues don't stay open. When there's less venues, there's less opportunities. Less opportunities breed a town of less talented musicians or musicians that have to flee and go to fucking LA or somewhere else where bands understand how to be profitable and their venues don't fucking close. That's what we got to stop the bleeding. Because with technology, with the internet, and with a proper community, you don't have to leave Minneapolis to blow up anymore. You just don't.
Well, and going back to what
Big facts.
Evan Gillen. What a guy. I love Evan.
Let's see if my YouTube chat commands are working. I don't think they will, but
Evan's like one of the best guys. He's helped out. I almost think of Evan as like another member of By the Thousands at this point, honestly. There have been so many tours and shows that Evan has been there. Like his whole thing, like he's an amazing photographer. That photo that you were blasting, that was Evan Gillen.
Oh, really? He's the one that took that photo?
Dude, he is so...
The one I'm blasting?
Yes.
You sent me one proper... You sent me a bunch of dope photos. You sent me a bunch of dope photos. I'm not talking shit about any of the photos.
It's my fault.
But there was one that was perfect.
And that's Evan.
And there was one photo where I was like, I can use this and repurpose this one photo for all of the promo material. Sometimes I switch it up. If guys send me and I'm like, ooh, I can play with these two because they have different vibes. But the other ones I just couldn't make work. And I tried. I load up those fucking stupid things I sent you. I load up dozens of different versions before you ever even see one. And sometimes I'll send one in, like everyone, and guys that have been on the podcast can attest to this. I'll send you a flyer and I'll be like, I'm not sure how I feel about this. I don't know if I like this. What do you think? Most of the time they're like, looks cool to me. But every once in a while they're like, yeah, something's weird. And I'm like, thank you. Okay, delete. And then I make a new one and they're like, yeah, that one's cool. And then we use that one. And those, I finally hit a format I like with those. So I've been sticking with that for the last couple months, but I like to refresh it every 30 to 60 days. So we're kind of coming up on the end of that run here at the end of July. So now August, I have to like figure out like, fuck, man, how are we going to not rebrand, but like, how are we going to make this thing seem fresh and unique and new and like it's still building?
I will say, if you or anybody else out here listening needs photography work done, hit up Evan. He will take care of you and he will give you good
Shout out to
results. Evan, you are the man.
Evan, if you want, man, you can drop like your link or your contact information in the chat if you want, bro.
If I could choose a dream team to hit the road with, it would be the band, Stephen Lane, and Evan Gillen. That is like
Stephen Lane. I got a lot of respect for Stephen, man.
Oh my God.
He's been on the podcast with the Reaping Boys once, and then he came on again by himself, and I really like Stephen. I bonded with Stephen deeply when we got fucking tanked, dude. It was hilarious, man.
I love him.
It was a great podcast.
He got me work at Mystic Lake and Paisley Park, and
oh no shit.
He's gone on the road with us several times and mixed us. He went on that last tour that we did with Oceano to run sound for us. He just crushed it. I've never felt more secure setting up and like knowing that Steve has like all the audio stuff like figured out. I just got to like give him our backtrack lines and like that's it.
Nice.
So great.
That's dope. Yeah, having a great sound guy is a fucking comfort blanket.
100%.
It is like another band member at that point.
It really
I mean,
is.
they're not helping writing songs. Don't get me wrong. But when you go on the road, they become the 5th or 6th or 7th band member or 4th or whatever, you know. Anyways.
Well, and same with photographers too, because that's how I feel about Evan. Because like if we didn't have Evan documenting all these experiences that we have on the road, like nobody would know about it.
And I think that's vital. Right.
Absolutely.
And I had Bud Ingram. He's my photographer and he does a lot of good photo work and he does stuff. If he really digs a band and they really have their shit together, but they don't have any money, he'll fucking pro bono shoot them.
That's so amazing.
But a band like you, he's going to try to make some money, right? Because he deserves to get paid because he's that fucking good.
Who, Steven or Evan?
I'm talking about my photographer,
Bud.
Bud.
Yeah.
The reason I bring this up, though, is because I don't think bands understand right now, some of the bands don't understand how important it is to not just have photos, but have great photos. Because having a great photo kind of, especially nowadays, in many ways can do more good for your band on Instagram than a video can, because they say a picture shows 1,000 words, right? Or tells 1,000 words. Well, then a video should tell way more than that, right? Yeah, exactly. Including how shitty you could be.
Very true. Very true.
Even if you're great, a bad audio recording on a cell phone video can make you sound like shit even when you're dope as fuck.
100%.
It can actually make people go, ugh, nope. So still to this day, with formats like Instagram and other social medias, having a dope photographer can help you build that essence, that hype, that image on your socials.
It's so
which
critical.
is a promotional tool. It's a networking tool.
So critical.
When a guy captures you looking dope as fuck on stage, that's an image that will live forever. That's an image that 2 to 3, 4, 5 years from now, some 15-year-old who's looking for new badass metal band sees that and he's like, "Oh, fucking that guy looks cool. What's his band sound like?"
Facebook
Boom,
is
new
the
fan.
Facebook
New fan.
Facebook is the new guitar world, man. Like if you follow bands on Facebook, like that's your magazine. Like all the photos of like sick shows going on or like somebody ripping a sick riff on stage.
For me, it's Instagram.
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
For me, Instagram
thing.
is where all the tasty riffs are.
Sure, yeah. Oh, I found this amazing guitar player.
I'm not saying I'm right.
Day.
I'm not saying I'm right, but like that's just how I look at. But dude, what do you think of TikTok? Because motherfuckers are like, if you don't figure out a way to get your shit going on TikTok, you ain't shit. And I'm like, still to this day, I'm like, but y'all can't monetize TikTok. So it literally doesn't matter if you have 1 million subscribers or followers on TikTok.
Floating in the ether.
It's literally worthless.
Yeah.
And your 30-second content is not your hear me out. Tell me if I'm crazy. But here's what I think. You're figuring out a way to bite down your content to the point where your content is actually now irrelevant, and you're just trying to create like bites and snaps and build in but if you could build this in a cross-platform way, right? So you're figuring out a way to take 30 seconds on TikTok and make it intriguing enough for somebody to follow you on Instagram, where your 1 minute or 2 minute video is intriguing enough to make them come to your YouTube and subscribe. Then it kind of makes sense.
I feel like an old man at this point because like
I also feel super neurotic as I'm even trying to explain this idea.
The only TikToks that I've ever seen have been on Facebook or Instagram.
Right?
That's it.
Like, I'm not on Facebook.
I've never
I'm not on TikTok.
Yeah.
I don't trust the Chinese government. I'm sorry, I don't.
But I don't know. I don't know what the disconnect is between like my age and like maybe somebody 5 years younger. I know several friends that like love TikTok right now.
Dude, there's some funny shit. That thing I showed you is technically a TikTok, but it's on Instagram, dude. That
Dustin
shit
sent one to our group.
I want to play this for the viewers because this shit, I don't get flagged for these, and this shit is fucking hilarious, dude. If you guys are easily offended, I apologize. But if you're not easily offended, this is one of the funniest things. And honestly, to me, I kind of alluded to this before we started the podcast. I'm building a collection, and so far I'm only up to like 3, 4, maybe 5, where it's like these single handful of videos justify the entire existence of TikTok because they're that funny. This is definitely one of them. This shit has me dying every fucking time. I'm going to have to hit that.
What's your favorite
button.
TikToks in the chat if you think about them too? Show us what we're missing.
Yeah, if you guys have some dope TikToks we need to be aware of. All right, this just takes a minute. I apologize, guys. But it should be working. Here we go. And then I got to hit this interact thing. This shit cracks me the fuck up, bro. Okay, here it is. And after this, we should play another song because I got to take a leak.
Oh, same.
All right, so here it is.
But that lady behind me just asked me, she asked me, why am I shirtless? Why you think I'm shirtless? Because I just got done banging a dude.
Insane. Insane.
I love Gen Z. These fucking kids are so funny. I'm serious, man. Like, if anybody's gonna save the world, it's gonna be them, because they really don't fucking care about anything except being dope, dude. Like, literally, it's like they're all little Michael Jordans. Like, they just find one thing and they just literally zero in on that one fucking thing and try to be as dope as they can be at that one thing. We need more people like that in this world.
100%.
And unfortunately, our generation failed miserably. we have not done a good job of holding down the fort.
Okay, right?
Oh, I mean, no, we're not okay. You and I specifically are musicians, which means we're emotionally needy. And we crave attention and validation from others. If this wasn't true, trust me, we wouldn't be musicians. We'd just be in IT.
So funny. There's that reminds me of there's one show we were playing out of town, and it's like the local band warming up or like getting ready to go on, and he was just like, all right, we're ready, everybody get in here and validate me. Screamed it over the microphone.
That's the most honest shit ever.
Good.
That's the most honest shit ever. All right, we're heading into, let's see. Okay, this is deceptive. It says we've only been live for 33 minutes because I accidentally killed the feed earlier. Yeah. Let's see how long we've been live for real. Where are we at? How long we been going here? Why won't it tell me?
Or 45?
Why won't it tell me? Yeah, I can just look at the time. Why am I such an idiot? We started right around 6 o'clock. I can just look at the regular clock.
It's a very complex system.
So we're coming up on the end of the second hour. We're going into the third hour. So the way we usually do this is now is when we really start diving deep into the chat. So actually start posting your questions, comments. I'm a terrible interviewer. I'm not a very good podcaster. I mean, I'm not horrible. Sadly, I'm better than even
great.
a lot of celebrities that do this already.
You are the best podcast I've ever been on. Hands down, 100%.
It's such a low bar. For anybody that doesn't get it, this is the first podcast he's ever been on. No. I beat myself up. I'm very hard on myself. I understand that everyone doesn't think I'm a good podcaster. I acknowledge that. I agree with you guys. We still have a long way to go, but we're working on it. We're getting better. I don't remember what my original point was to bringing this up, but whatever. Let's play a song. I gotta take a leak. Oh, that was my point. Because I get distracted, we start having fun. It's not a real interview, it's a hang. And I just have like general questions so we can have a conversation, because I just like getting to know these guys and like understanding them and how they tick, and letting you guys get to know them and shit, right? So if you guys are looking for like a real interview, like a 60 Minutes or Larry King or some old school, like there's other podcasts for that. I can recommend one, Ritual Madness podcast. It's a featured channel at the top of my page. So you can go to my main YouTube page, Ritual Madness. His name is Greg Chilton. He's a good friend of mine. He's been on the podcast. He's a much better interviewer than I am. We do two very different style podcasts centered around the same exact idea. So if you guys get frustrated with me in that regard, here's my point. I don't fucking care, because that's not the point of this.
Playing it fast and loose here.
I'm trying to be a better podcaster, not a better interviewer. Like, I don't want to be a good interviewer. I don't want to do Conan O'Brien. I don't want to do that shit. So in this third hour, you guys start posting your questions and comments and things like that. And then we start actually going into all the shit I missed. Maybe a story we didn't follow up on. Maybe I cut you off because of whatever. Now is the time to do that. We're going to play another song. We're going to take a bathroom break. And when we get back, we'll start diving more into this chat. All right, we'll be back. We got the second one up. So it's the second one no matter how we count them. Do you remember which one this is?
A despondency?
I think you'll know as soon as it starts, and then I'll just wait a second to mute it. It'll also pop up on the screen, so they'll be able to read it as well. Toxic Earth. Here you go. All right, guys, we'll be back.
Waste into the street.
Yep, just got flagged by the old YouTube. Just to reconfirm, John Riviere, member and writer of said songs, do we have permission to play your music on our YouTubes?
Yes.
Thank you.
Now it should be good, right?
In theory.
Yeah.
It is becoming more and more of an issue, so I may need to start actually getting written permission for release.
That's so crazy.
I mean, it makes sense, but at the same time, I only get frustrated when they're like, nope. And I'm like, fuck, because I'm allowed to still appeal it again. So the first level's a dispute. I almost always win. But if I lose a dispute, then I have to appeal. If I lose the appeal, I get a copyright strike against my channel. And you're only allowed 3, and then you're done skis.
Come on, YouTube.
So we've talked about this in the past. There very well may be a point in the near future where we have to actually stop playing people's music, or we have to figure out a way to monetize beyond. So that's why we need more Patreon supporters and things like that, you know, and you got to do the ad reads and things like that. So that way I'm never 100% dependent on the actual 100% revenue from YouTube, because sometimes it's like, oh, no, you owe them 50% of the revenue from this video, 25%. Those things are arbitrarily decided, and I have a big risk in going, I need to fight this because they gave me permission. If I lose that, it hits my channel. You can only, it's 3 strikes and you're out. You know, it's like fucking prison rules and shit. Scary. So, but
they're about to hit you with the corner again.
I got permission, so if YouTube people are watching this, stop flagging me.
Plays.
All right, we got a couple questions here. Matt says he's going to save up for a cajon box.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I know that's not a Cajun. I'm not an idiot. Cajon box, and he'll be ready for the acoustic gigs. Nice. I love it.
We're 2 for 5 right now.
2 for 5. Get your shit together, boys. All right.
I think Adam still has his acoustic bass, so maybe 3 for 5.
Johnny Grandel.
Love Johnny
Thanks
Grandel.
for joining in chat, buddy. If you haven't hit subscribe already, please do so. Still on that grind to 1,000. He says he loves you.
I love Johnny Grandel. He's like one of the best human beings. He was the bass player in Damietta when I was in Damietta back in the day.
What kind of band was that? That's kind of a cool band name.
Oh yeah, it was like a Midwest hardcore band when I was in high school.
It's like Female Damien.
So I think Damietta was a port that was used during the Crusades.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Oh, murder.
Yeah.
That's super metal.
Yeah.
Evan Gillen says, ask John about the cow and whistle and Pharrell and pigeon and dog and cat and whistle.
You ever seen that Family Guy episode where they're like making fun of British people? It's like Family Guy, but they're British.
I've definitely seen every episode of Family Guy.
So like Peter comes home drunk.
Refresh my memory.
Peter comes home drunk and Lois is like, "Oi, where you been?" And he's like, "Oh, I've been down at the at the cow and whistling pigeon and feral and hog." And the bar name is like all these like different British things.
Yep.
And then she like asks him if he was at the cow and whistling pig and hen and fox and like whatever. And he's like, "No, I was at
the pigeon and fox and hound."
Yeah. I love Evan. He's the man.
Please tell me there's more to that story.
No, that's it. We just run that. So like,
you fucks. It's literally just ask him about the Family Guy scene.
We do that a lot, and then we like quote Bane quotes from Dark Knight Rises to each other all the time. Same with Matt.
Embrace the darkness.
Yes.
I was born in it.
Speak of the devil, and he shall appear.
the people closest to me, if they really want to hit me with a deep cut, give me a quote from Hot Rod.
Oh,
you ever seen Hot Rod?
I love Hot Rod. That was like one of the first movies my girlfriend and I watched together was Hot Rod.
So it's so deep.
It's totally my hat now.
There's that one. That same guy, I forget his name off the top of my head.
Danny McBride, yeah.
Okay, so remember when they're doing the scene with the fucking where they drown Rod?
Oh yeah.
and the girl comes out, the sister
like
comes
cherry,
out.
it upsets my stomach.
And exactly, she comes out and asks for. No, dude, it's great. She comes out and she asks for if they want Kool-Aid, and they all answer yeah. And then all of a sudden he goes, "Hey, little girl, hey, little girl, I like cherries. They upset my stomach." Well, here, dude, it's so bad. I literally, one of my dogs specifically responds to "little girl," and you can't go like "little girl."
Is it Peanut?
No, it's her baby. Okay. It's one of her babies. Sansa is her real name. She responds to Sansa, sort of. But if I need her to like come here now, I go to the backyard and I go, "Little girl," and she fucking comes running like a hyperactive squirrel, dude. It's so funny. Oh my god, dude, that's how deep that movie is in my life.
We always quote the scene when they're at the bar on the double date, and then Rod gets stood up, and because like Adam, our bass player's last name is Sullivan, so we're always like, "Sullivan, you chode."
Hey guys, I found these fireworks in the bathroom. Would you like to let them off with me? I love that movie so much. You know that song at the end in the rally?
Oh,
you're the
like,
voice trying to understand.
Yes.
I'm covering that song, and I'm making it fucking heavy. I literally already transposed the keyboard parts in this dope ass little tapping part on the guitar.
That's so awesome.
Like switched up the chorus, so there's a little in the middle of it, so it like switches gears a little bit, but it still has the bass groove. That accordion part.
What are you gonna do for the bagpipes?
Or that's what I meant. The bagpipes,
sure, yeah.
Harmonized guitar part, Thin Lizzy style. I'm gonna find the Thin Lizzy harmonies, like straight out of Boys Are Back in Town.
Oh, right? Great.
Yep, it's gonna be a banger, bro.
That's awesome.
It's gonna be fucking dope. That's how much I love that fucking movie. In that scene, my favorite part of that scene is they're walking through, and everything's like beautiful, and then it starts to riot, and then they randomly cut scenes, and I think it's Bill Hader's just standing there with a TV out of nowhere. There's zero acknowledgement of this complete editing hack. Dude, there is so many layers of hilarity to that movie, bro.
The DJ that's like broadcasting the jump at the end, and his whole thing is like it's only on AM radio.
Oh yeah, what's his fuck? Bill, Chris Parnell. Chris Parnell from everything.
He like explains his tattoo. So good.
When they give him all the gifts at the end, he's like, "Thanks, that's number one," and he gives him a rock, and he's like, "Thanks, that's number one." and then again, Rod kisses the girl.
Oh yeah,
and he's like, "Wait, I thought that was his sister." And he's like, "No, that's not his sister." He's like, "It just totally exploded my world." That exploded my entire universe. That's what he said. That just completely exploded my entire universe.
Do you have any favorite movies? Like, what are your
That's number one.
Number one, okay.
Comedy movie, all-time Hot Rod, not even close. It's With a Bullet. The replay value of Hot Rod. The deep layers of comedy.
The quotability.
Just the premise of the movie is hilarious. An amateur stuntman whose stepdad has a heart attack, and the only way he can gain his respect is by kicking his ass. But then he has a heart attack.
Tale as old as time.
So he has to raise money to get his dad a new heart so he can kick his ass so he can earn his respect.
You've never been in that situation before?
That is the greatest premise to any movie of all time. Period. That's for starters. And then I'm cheesy, so like I go with the franchises. So like Back to the Future is my favorite trilogy of all time. You know, favorite movie? Nah, because it depends on how old I am. You know, that opinion changes too often depending on where I'm at in my life and what I'm able to relate to. I mean, there was a period of time where it would have been like Scarface.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, I love that movie. Then there was a period of time where it was Godfather 2.
Just watched that the other. I watched all three of them the other day. Yeah.
No, for me, it's just stupid nostalgia, you know, like makes me feel like a kid, you know, and that's Back to the Future. Like I'll watch that Back to the Future trilogy anytime and just be like, yeah, I love this shit. It's stupid. But I'll tell you, I'm a sucker for anything time travel, anything end of the world style Armageddon.
Have you seen Primer?
I think so, yeah.
It's like it's a
It's on Netflix or something?
I don't know. It definitely was on streaming services for a while, but it's the coolest time travel movie I've ever seen. It was like the main character in it wrote the movie and he made the soundtrack and he directed it, and it's like the most heady time travel movie I've ever seen.
Yeah, I'm a sucker for any of that shit.
So
I'll look for it if I haven't seen it already. I've seen so many of those movies, though, like halfway through it'll be like, I think I've seen this movie. I think I know how this ends. And then I'm like, fuck, yeah, I have seen this movie. But I'm still, if I don't remember the ending...
Primer. You need to
anything
revisit.
Time travel.
Yes.
Anything Armageddon, end of the world. Anything God versus Satan.
Sure.
Like, dude, I remember that shitty Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. I think it was called
End of Days.
End of Days. Yeah. Loved it.
So
it's not a good movie. No. Loved it. Doesn't matter.
But it's Arnold. You gotta respect Arnold movies.
Devil's Advocate, Al Pacino.
That was
Keanu
really
Reeves.
good. Really good.
Elite level movie.
Constantine.
I like that one.
I liked that one.
What about Legion?
Oh, I never saw that one.
Or I Am Legion?
I know what you're talking with, like the angel on the cover or whatever. Yeah. I never saw that.
Crazy old bitch in the bus.
Is it good?
Oh, it's dope as fuck.
Okay.
They made a show off it. It was so dope.
Wow.
Yeah, they made a show that followed up. It was on like TNT or USA or something, but that show was actually pretty fucking good too.
Interesting.
Yeah, I was a sucker for Lucifer, the stupid show that was on Fox for a while and then moved to Netflix.
I still haven't checked that one out yet. I keep seeing it pop up.
I'm not even going to tell you it's good, bro. It just, I'm a sucker. There's certain tropes where I'm like, I'm in. Like I read the description, I'm like, sold. I'm like 4 words into the first sentence and they just mentioned one of these concepts. I'm like, yep, in. Even if it's bad. There's one good one I seen recently though. It's you guys in chat might know the name of this movie. I found it on one of the streaming services. I cannot recall the name of it, but here's the concept. There are shape-shifting Nazis living on the moon, and the Earth is hollow. Inside the Earth, there's still dinosaurs.
Iron Sky?
Yeah, that's exactly what it's called. It's amazing, dude. It's so bad. It's literally hilariously bad. Yeah, shape-shifting reptilian Nazis living on the moon. Did you see that movie?
I have not. I've seen it like pop up, but
it's great.
I don't know.
It's so bad. It's great. Like they understand it's a bad movie. So instead of trying to make it good, they lean into it and make it good.
That's so amazing.
You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? They're like, oh, we know this is a cheesy, terrible script. Let's make it hilarious.
That's so good.
Other than that, I don't think I've hit a real, true, great original comedy. What about you? Like favorite movie? I mean, that's what you asked me.
So for me, I don't know. It's hard for me to like rank these 3 in order, but I have 3 that I think are my all-time favorite. Okay, so
no
movies. Particular order.
I'll even give you a 4th one, and we'll call it the Mount Rushmore of your movies.
I like this.
Let's do the Mount Rushmore one as people are putting more questions in chat.
So I love The Big Lebowski.
Oh, I forgot about The Big Lebowski.
I've seen that so many times. I love the script. I love the interaction. Yeah. Like, there's nothing really crazy that happens in the whole movie, but it's just so well delivered.
Yeah, it's the epitome of the Coen brothers and their slow burn of comedy.
You can watch it at any time of the day, like if you're passing out or like doing stuff, or like you really want to focus on a movie. I don't know. I love The Big Lebowski. The other one is John Carpenter's The Thing.
Russell.
Yes.
Old school.
Yes. That's been my favorite for years. I had a cousin when I was growing up who was
My wife likes to drive through the hood here.
Oh, yeah.
She rolls the window down and then she just blasts the soundtrack of the thing and drives extremely
Really?
slow. And then when she comes up to stop signs, she doesn't look in any direction. She just goes like this so she can see if cars are coming.
Dude, okay.
Creeps people out. It's hilarious watching her do it.
Did you listen to a lot of With Dead Hands Rising?
Never heard him once in my entire life.
Oh my God. Okay,
I'm
well,
just kidding,
shout
of
out
course.
to Timothy
I
Java.
I know those guys. They've all been on the podcast, yeah.
Tim Java is the man. But did you know that there's one of their
I'm
albums?
just kidding, you guys. Jesus Christ. They've all been on the podcast. Java's been on the podcast.
Yeah.
Fucking Dan Copy's been on the podcast.
Speaking of, okay.
In case anybody doesn't know or get the joke, basically, for lack of a better argument, With Dead Hands Rising turned into Reaping Asmodea.
Oh, yeah.
For lack of a better explanation, that's essentially what happened.
Okay, not to derail from the movies. However, I do have a really sick story about With Dead Hands Rising's farewell show at Triple Rock, another tie back to the Triple Rock. Did you know about this show or go to it?
No, I didn't go to that one.
One of the most memorable shows in my life. They had member changes. Almost everybody that was in Dead Hands at one point performed on the stage. I know Muley didn't. I spoke to him about this, but I thought it was amazing. I saw Dan Copy performing. Best show at Triple Rock, I think, that I've seen. And then a couple weeks later, I was picking up a mattress from Slumberland in White Bear. And I'm like waiting for the mattress to, like, we pull up to the warehouse, park the car, and Dan Copy carries my mattress around the corner. And I went up to him and I was like, dude, no, put that down. Like, you're so amazing. Like, I just saw you at Triple Rock. Like, you're so incredible. I love Dead Hands. Like, stop right now. But that was full circle. I feel like that was my real first connection to like Dan Copy and those guys. And like, I don't know. They took pity on me being a young metalhead in the Minnesota scene. And they're like, this guy.
They've always been really kind people, though. In those bands
Absolutely.
with that group of dudes, they've always been dope fucking cats.
100%. I remember calling Alex out of the blue before I ever really talked to him, and I just like picked his brain about guitar tone, and I was so nervous to talk to him because he was just so amazing. Still is amazing a guitar player.
And that's the coolest part about our scene is like you can become peers with these people, like because you're a peer with Alex now.
I love Alex. I didn't get to go snowboarding with him this year or golf this year with him yet, but I love Alex. We like, yeah.
Throwing the old disc.
Oh no, like
you throw some disc golfing.
Real golf.
Oh, real golf.
Real golf.
Oh, shots fired. He said real golf. Real golf.
We're
so
both Tiger
in other
Woods.
words, y'all disc golfers aren't real golfers. Oh
okay.
shit.
Well, let me clarify. Golf instead of real golf.
Nope. It's been established. These are facts. John Riviere looks down on disc golfers.
The Big Lebowski van sleeps. That's Evan's comment.
Oh yeah, we got to get back to the movie thing. And then I got another question for you.
Sure. Okay, so Big Lebowski, The Thing, and Dumb and Dumber.
All right, you get one more too.
Oh yeah.
Because it's your Mount Rushmore.
So tricky. So I really like this movie Sunshine. Have you ever heard about that one?
I assume you mean not Eternal Sunshine.
Not
of the
Eternal
Spotless
Sunshine,
Mind.
not Little Miss Sunshine, but Sunshine.
The answer is no.
Okay, it's about a group of astronauts that are flying to the sun to reignite it because it's burning out, and if it burns out, Earth and all humanity die. One of the coolest space travel movies. It's like,
see, I'm in. End of the world.
I've never been more stressed out the first time watching a movie than when I watched Sunshine.
100% in.
Cannot recommend it enough.
Okay, I'll look it up for sure.
It's the same. The main actor is the same guy that plays Scarecrow in the first Batman movie. Well, not the first one, but the first Christian Bale Batman movie.
Okay,
I don't know.
I'm in.
Really
I know
good.
what you're talking about. The dude with the beautiful eyes.
Oh yeah, he's gorgeous.
Like, yeah, he looks weird. Actually, his eyes are so beautiful. It's actually creepy. It's past attractive, and it's extremely awkward and makes me extraordinarily uncomfortable. And his face looks like it was sculpted from wax.
Yes.
Not
That's the guy.
stone like a Greek god. Wax. It's always a little shiny.
Also,
a little sweaty. Guy fucking creeps me out.
Dude, it's just a great movie. You gotta watch it.
I got a question for you.
Yeah.
You were super excited to come on the podcast because you had a bunch of shit you wanted to talk about. You're like, I'm so excited. There's so many things I want to talk about with By the Thousands. And we've been getting to know each other, and I've gotten to ask a lot of my questions, but what are some of the things that you've wanted? Because there's a lot of people don't know. There's a lot of weird, cool, odd shit. Little things. What are some of the things that you wanted? I mean, take your moment, man.
I don't know, man. It's so tough.
You can talk about anything, dude.
So I just so I'm like the tech guy for the band. Like I do all the computer stuff and like all the
So
light.
what does that mean for the laymen who aren't super? Because most of this conversation anybody can keep up with, but just to make sure, not everyone who listens is a musician. So what does that mean? The tech guy, you do recording. So into the computer, you're the guy.
I'm the computer guy.
Okay.
Yeah, so like recording, I design like our live set that we do, and then we use a computer for that too. So we have like click tracks, backtracks, patch changes. I designed like our lighting setup.
You run all that off a laptop nowadays, I assume?
Yep.
Back in the day, you had to have like some fucking crazy equipment. Now it's a laptop.
Exactly. Yeah. From the get go of By the Thousands, we've used what's the word? Yeah, we've used a laptop to trigger our patch changes. That was the initial thing, and then like playing some of the auxiliary sounds, like auxiliary guitar parts or synth parts. Like we don't have a keyboard player or anything like that, but just being the guy to like record our music and then take our music like audio tracks and dump it into like a different session, reorder the set and all that stuff. Just the man behind the curtain. That's how I feel like I am. And because of that, like there's a lot of time commitment that goes into it when we're playing live shows. So I'm always like stressed out about making sure that like the computer's connected and like ready to go. And like we got multiple cables, but like it's not many. It's like 3 cables that we run. And then like Hondo's headphones, our drummer, like it was Carlos and now Matt, like making sure their headphones are good. And then we just started doing this new situation with our Axe-Fx and Kemper where we run it to our cabinet, so it's like getting just the amp sim, and then we run it to our headphones with cab sim on top of it. So like just all the little things, it really keeps me away from talking to people at the show because I'm like looking at my amplifier and stuff like that. So I never really get this opportunity to like talk to people and say what's up.
Right.
And like,
yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I mean it is fun. It's a lot of fun. And a lot of times it's a dope fucking party. But you're also doing a job. And it's tough for normal people to understand how hard it is to kick it and just hang. And that's what's dope about this. Like this podcast, you guys have an opportunity to come and kick it with me for 3 hours. Yeah, we play some tunes, but we're not yelling at each other because there's loud music in the background.
Yeah.
We're not worried about, oh, fuck, dude, we got to load out. Oh, fuck, dude, we got to do this. Oh, shit, this girl wants to talk to me. Oh, and my girlfriend's over there getting jealous.
Yes.
Like, there's so many, plates you're spinning in a night as a performer. It's really hard to relate to for a normal human being who hasn't literally been in that position. The closest thing is if your girl is also sought after and your friends are also in bands, so they all understand like, oh no, like I get it, you're doing your networking thing, like you have to like kind of flirt a little bit, because you can't be dismissive to people because then they'd be like, fuck that guy, ew. And it's like, no, the whole point is like, if you understand how the music industry works, is like you got to make women want to fuck you so the guys want to be you. You got to get girls to your show so guys follow the girls to your show. I'm sorry, but it still works like that to this day, bro. Like, sorry, man. I know we don't want to admit that, but that is still the reality.
I think that might be everybody else in the band carrying the team in that regard because I never get
I mean, you're quite beautiful.
Oh, you're sweet.
And it also helps when you're good. I mean...
Well,
you know what I mean? Like that's if you're actually good at your instrument, like naturally those things also happen.
I'm good enough to hang with the rest of the guys in the band. Those guys. Dustin,
well, you're no slouches.
I'm no slouch, but like Dustin and Adam, those guys are like really good at their instruments. Like Adam,
but you're in the room.
Adam,
so you're on the level.
Well, I mean, I can hang. I for sure can hang, but like Adam and Dustin are on like a different level than I am. I've always felt this way.
I'm gonna just do it because I'm drunk and I don't care. Brad, I know you're in chat. I seen you comment a long time ago. Shout out to Brad Stahlecker. Shout out to Brad Stahlecker. I'm just gonna ask you, can you guys roll with ATV?
Like, could we tour with ATB?
Can you hold your own? Play with them on stage?
So we have played with ATB before.
Exactly. So the answer is fucking yes. You fucking can. It's been a rolling fucking joke on this podcast for a while because some people in the scene have gotten a little big for their britches and they're overestimating what they're, and they have the right drive, they have the right work ethic, and then there's other guys on the other end of the spectrum where it's like, no, dude, you guys can fucking hang with the big boys. You are one of the big boys, and they're like, no, man. All of these things devalue our scene, and it's crazy, dude. Like,
I think it's a really interesting line to walk, though, about like maintaining being humble and then understanding that like you can feel confident, like. Because the moment you take one toe over that line either direction, like it's a slippery slope.
Yeah, I do it like every 7 days. And it ain't just a toe, bro. It's like, man, it's the whole leg.
Yeah.
I'm already in the pool.
You know what I mean, though?
I know exactly what you mean. That hubris will catch your ass real fucking quick.
Dude, I've always been under the impression that like it's better to remain humble because there's always somebody that's got a leg up on you. Always. Like... And we're not shit by the thousands. Like we're great. Like we've worked our asses off over the past since 2012 we started writing music together. So nine-ish.
9.
Coming up on 9.
As a Jew, I love a good German joke. 9 years.
But like, there's still miles to go before we like can carry some. It's
true. And every time you guys make it to the next level, you're just a smaller fish in a bigger pond.
Exactly. There's always a bigger fish.
That's the mind fuck. Is every time you get bigger and better, now you're a smaller fish in a bigger pond.
Yeah.
And you're trying to survive amongst sharks.
Well, and like
eventually whales.
Our whole thing for the past couple of years has been like trying to get on tours with bigger artists because that'll be a greater exposure to many more artists than like what we would get organically like on our own if we hit the road. But if you like look at any of those bands that we try to hop on the bill, like they're doing the same thing. They're trying to like get on the bill with like the stadium acts and like the huge stadium tours and
exactly.
Yeah.
And like this is part of the industry where people go, well, there's 100 bands and there's 5 slots on this bill. Why should I pick your band?
Bless you.
And the main answer, which is the wrong answer, but the main answer to that question that people receive is, well, it's because we're different. It's because our music's different. It's because our music's dope. Some variation of that. Just listen to the music. Wrong. The answer is because we want to be a profitable business. And we want to make money. And we want you to make money. And we want to make money with you. If that is your actual goal, and it sounds like shit, but if you understand that's what they need to hear, because that's what they need to survive. Going back to why a lot of the venues in Minneapolis close.
Sure.
I'm just in it for the music. Well, then fucking I ain't booking you, bro.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to care enough to promote enough to bring enough people through the door that are going to buy enough booze for me to cover my fucking taxes and mortgage and insurance on my fucking venue.
Yeah.
Because not everybody's fucking rich. And even if you are rich, you have the same problems that the poor people have with bigger zeros attached to the end of them.
So this is really interesting, actually, this
Sorry,
topic.
I'm on a rant. But I'm also fucking on fire right now because this shit is fucking, as the young kids call it, big facts.
Okay, so I in high school, I was playing a ton of shows at the Vault, ton of shows at like the Garage, Triple Rock, Station 4 when that was a thing. Oh my God.
Oh yeah, that was one.
Love Station 4.
Downtown St. Paul.
Yes. But okay,
shitty venue, but also a great venue. Like the acoustics were terrible until that room was packed.
Dude, there's
remember that shit?
There's absolutely, because
sound guy was dope, but you
Anthony.
can only, Anthony.
That guy is amazing.
But if that room was empty, there's nothing you can do about it. It sounded like shit. Yeah. But if you could pack that room, the people filled the room, changed the acoustics, and it sounded incredible. And Anthony was the shit. I learned a lot from Anthony.
Same.
Dude, every time I played Station 4, I was so terrified. Because I'm a little older than you, and I was young when I met Anthony. He was running sound at Station 4 when I was 16, 17. That means you were 10. You were 10 years old when I was already playing at Station 4, and I was intimidated by him. Every time I showed up at Station 4, I hyper analyzed and hyper managed every single thing I said and did on or near that stage, because I knew how good Anthony was.
Amazing.
And I knew that if he decided fuck that band or fuck that guy, he just wouldn't work that night.
Yeah.
Because I knew we were always going to get booked there because we had our booking agent, but it was one of those deals where it was like, he's one of the best in the game, and all I have to do is say one wrong thing, and then forever when we play here, they bring in a B roster guy instead of Anthony, the A-level motherfucker that you really want every night, because he makes you feel safe. Going back to our conversation, a great sound guy.
If he's behind the board, you know you're going to be taken care of 100%. All the time.
It's so great because you sound check and you're like, hey man, listen, can you actually turn my vocals down a little bit? Like mine are a little hot in the monitors. And he's like, oh yeah, sure, done. And then you're like, and can I get just a little bit more snare? I'm having a hard time keeping time. And he's like, done. And it's perfect.
Yes.
There's other guys, you ask that same thing, just that same way, which is, you're a musician. If you speak to a sound guy like that, he should respond like Anthony.
Yes.
Then there's other guys you work with.
Oh, I can't do that because XYZ.
Or they go, yeah, sure. And they do the opposite. They turn your vocals up. Don't fucking tell me how to mix sound, motherfucker. Oh, those are the worst. That's the juxtaposition when you don't get an Anthony. It's either excuses, like you said, or spite.
Yep. Yeah.
No, but a guy like Anthony was a straight motherfucker.
Live sound guys are so sensitive.
Some of them.
So many of them.
But the ones who were also musicians.
The ones who get it are great. Yeah.
Because Anthony was in a band.
Yes.
I don't remember what band he was in, but he was in a dope band.
He's a guitar player, right?
Steven's in a band.
Yeah.
Like, because these guys understand what it's like to be you. And they're like, no, they need these. Like, they also understand as a sound guy that they're hired by the band to do a job. So, like, technically they work for the band that night. And they respect that and understand that, because the next night, they're the ones on stage paying somebody else to run sound. You see what I'm saying?
Totally.
So it's like they can really understand and go, no, he's not being a dick. And they can also see and sense if you're having a bad night. So maybe you come off like a dick, but they give you a pass.
Totally.
Because they're like, dude, I've been him. I get it. He's fucking, I heard his girlfriend bitching at him before the show. Fucking, his guitar rig's not working right. He's fucking losing his shit. Yeah, so I'm going to let him be a little snotty to me tonight, because I've been there, bro. But you get the wrong sound guy, and he's like, fader down.
Yep.
Oh, not good enough? No, you don't hear shit. Boom, now your show's ruined because of a spiteful, shitty... That's how important they are. To go back to what we were talking earlier.
We always get a lot of grief from, like, random sound guys on the road, because we have, like, 3 backtrack lines that I send to them, and
are you guys like really specific too?
Well, one of them is a left, one of them is a right, and one of them is 808 drops. So like all the low end stuff is on one channel, and then everything else is on these left right. And most people don't like stereo anything. So like when we feed them our stereo backtracks, I've had people be like, well, it's a mono system, like we can't really do anything. It's like, well,
that's literally not true.
How do you pan your guitars then? Like, what are you doing with like my guitar right now? Like, so it's just weird. I feel like people...
That's laziness.
Oh yeah,
and arrogance.
100%.
Dude, it's an XLR.
Exactly.
Like, it is literally the definition of stereo.
And I've brought 20-foot leads with me for the last like 5 years. So it's like, here are my cables. Like all you need to do is plug them into the snake.
You're doing most of their job for them.
Well, I mean, we're making it easy for anybody we have to work with, but like, because we're making it easy, it's just like, why are you giving me a hard time right now, dude? Like, this is not difficult.
I know exactly what you're
Pretend
talking
like this is
about.
a keyboard and like you got a left and a right, like plug it in.
Dude, I remember there was a couple cats. Al Bourne was one of them, where he would show up and record bands live. So all he did was took a feed off the board, and most of the time it was fine. But every once in a while, he would, like, some guy would be like, wait, what? Like, they were offended that that they thought he was adding to, and he's like, no, I just need to plug in here. Like, you don't have to, you do your job.
I'm getting your stuff right now.
Because most of the boards we were fucking with had like an in and then an out for that track. So you could run two boards together and track everything separately. And so Al Bourne would show up and fucking record you on a multi-track.
It's so sick.
Remix your live performance and give you
a
demo.
We call that, like, whenever there's like either recording or footage of performance, we call that game footage, like what football players do when
I love it.
Yeah. So we like look at the game footage and see like what went well and what didn't go well. Game footage, yeah,
that's your game film. Yeah, that's you're looking at film.
Exactly.
That's legit. Yeah, you got audio film, which is wrong, but whatever, you get the point. And then you got your actual film.
Ryan Van Den Boom, I believe that is. I love Ryan Van Den Boom.
Okay, he's got a question. I'll answer first.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'll answer first because I have a very quick.
I'm gonna grab a beer real quick.
Yeah, literally take anything you want in there, dude. And if you're moving on past beer, dude, the bar's up there too. You can grab whatever you want up there. I had to stop dipping into that personally because I would just get too tanked on podcasts. I'm not a hard liquor guy. I never really was, but people started donating hard liquor and I started getting it for others. And then if, I try to partake in what my guest wants to do. Like, you're a vodka guy? Okay, let's do vodka. But dude, it's not like I developed an alcohol problem. Clearly not. I'm still fucking drinking because I don't give a shit. But no, dude, I just started getting too tanked every night. Every podcast, just getting hammered, dude. It was bad. Like I told you, fucking Tim fucking passed out in that chair for like a half hour or something, dude. It was hilarious. He just
so good,
dude. It was
Didn't he have sunglasses on too?
Yeah. So he was pretending he wasn't sleeping, but he totally was. And then he left, and we did like another half hour to an hour after, because he's like, I gotta go, dude. I'm too drunk.
And he really
Ubered
set
home.
the bar though for everybody.
Yeah, fucking. It got dark fast after that, dude. Fucking literally like 4 or 5 podcasts later, it got even worse. But anyways, sketchiest alley/load-in area ever. My answer, without a doubt, What's Up Lounge in Mankato, Minnesota.
Oh, that was my stomping ground. You're talking about going up the fire escape?
Yeah, because you were not allowed to load in anywhere else unless you were a real, true national headliner.
I saw so
and then they
many
allowed you
there.
to use the front, and they did have a fucking elevator. I found out later. For years they lied. And so like when Seven Dust, because you remember Seven Dust used to play the What's Up on the regular.
I had no idea.
Seven Dust played the Rut. They never once loaded up that fire escape. They did have an elevator, but you had to be a real national headliner. And I think, if I remember right, John Wheeler, correct me if I'm wrong, John Wheeler from Screaming Monkey Boner.
Oh, they loved the What's Up Lounge.
I think they are the only local band. Them, and actually, now that I think about it, it might not have been SMB. It might not have been SMB, but it could have been. But I think Head Charge as well.
I've thrown spoons at Screaming Mechanical Brain at What's Up Lounge in Mankato before.
Yeah, and I think possibly SMB, but I think also at a minimum Head Charge.
Sure.
Are the only local bands that have ever gotten access to the national load-in spot, which is an actual service elevator.
That blows my mind. I grew up 20 minutes away from What's Up Lounge, and I went there so many times to see bands.
Yeah, because we were told the only way to load into that venue is that fucking fire escape.
Never heard about the elevator. I've only loaded up the fire escape.
Me too.
Yeah.
And I didn't see the elevator. I recently found out about this.
Wow.
Yeah. Like because think about it, and it makes perfect sense as soon as you think about it. No national band is putting up with that.
No, absolutely not.
No one. Why would really? Seven Dust.
Yeah.
Even back then, they were already Seven Dust. They just couldn't draw 3,500 people.
Mankato isn't
everywhere.
one of those markets that you like consider when you think about like the huge markets. Like it surprises me that Seven Dust was playing at What's Up Lounge.
It's not a made up thing. I promise you.
No, I don't question it, but like that is
Head Charge. Slipknot played there before Slipknot blew up. Dude, I seen Slipknot at the fucking Urban Wildlife, dude.
What?
Yeah, dude, and they were terrible because there was too many people. They didn't have enough channels.
Sure, yeah.
You know what I mean? It was like a 30-person band. Not literally, but you know what I mean.
I still have never
The room was
seen
way
Slipknot
too small.
live.
The stage was way too small. They weren't them yet.
Before I die,
like they were them,
Slipknot
but they
live.
weren't them. It was chaos. It was a wall of just. It was shocking and entertaining, but like as far as the sound quality of their musical, nah. It was just like I described to you about my System of a Down experience and my other buddies' Coheed experience. Like when these bands started off, they did not sound great. In fact, they sounded really bad. Sometimes because of a sound guy. For real.
They have a lot of power. They
Sometimes
really do.
That's all that takes.
It can make.
That's why you
got to
get yourself a dope photographer and fucking build your fucking image on Instagram.
Got to get yourself an Evan Gillen.
Until you get a exactly. There's your shameless plug, bitch. I tied that back in seamlessly. I really did that on purpose too. But also, get yourself a dope fucking sound guy and stop putting shitty sounding recordings on the internet. Like, just get your shit sound, because people are way more. You think I'm a dick or judgmental, people? Nah, man. I'm just honest. People on the internet are dicks, and they will pass judgment in 5 to 6 seconds, and you'll never even know. And they'll dismiss you because you sounded like shit.
Well,
and it's not even your fault.
Your friends will be so much more not real with you because they don't want to hurt your feelings,
right?
You know, which is understandable. Like, I don't want to hurt any of my friends' feelings at all, and like, it's all art. So
it's
like,
also not helpful though once you regularly draw like 500 people.
Yeah, there is
and
a
you
line.
put out a bad tune, and your friends are like, "It's great."
Yeah, there is
like,
a line.
No, it's not. I needed your fake support when I could barely get 100 people to a show, but now that we're drawing 500,
Tell me I'm not doing something stupid.
Exactly. Dude, y'all changed, man. What do you mean?
Yeah.
Like, your shit's weak now. What do you mean it's weak? No one else thinks it's weak? Yeah, because I'm your fucking friend and everyone else is a yes man already. Really? Yeah. All of a sudden the album doesn't do it. Hey, guess what? You know, the people I trust are telling me the reason the album's not doing well is because the shit's weak. Maybe we need... Oh, fuck. Like, yeah... That's the thing.
When you can get so set on like a path or like a plan that you have and think that it's the right one, and then it like does not pan out the way you think it's going to, you know?
Well, and we talked about something different, but I guess it's sort of aligned to this because it reminded me of it. You guys were a little disappointed in your latest video release in how well it did online, but again, not to your own fault, but maybe from a lack of vision. You didn't realize that it was going to get flagged for gore.
Oh, yeah. Soul Conductor. No, yeah.
So your new video got flagged for gore.
So Soul
which
Conductor
immediately limits your exposure online. Like, the algorithm will not feed it.
And
it will not push it.
We thought it was going to do the exact opposite. It was going to be like a shock factor. Like, oh my God.
Which it will happen if people watch it and share it. But the algorithm will not go, hey, people are watching this. Let's push this to more people. The algorithm drops you once you're flagged on anything.
If you check it out, if anybody checks it out, Soul Conductor's like the most fun that we had filming a video. It was like the coolest experience ever. Jesse Lynch, he did Despondency, that video for us as well. But it was like, there was real organs from like, we had like a cow's heart. We had like fake intestines.
You don't have to admit that.
No, it was so cool. It was so cool.
You're not helping your YouTube flag for gore. You might have won it, but now that they have video recorded evidence online on their own platform on someone else's channel admitting it, yeah, those are real organs. Well, that's flagged forever.
I mean, they're not.
You just lost that appeal for life.
They're fake.
No,
organs.
they're fake, and it's sugar water and fucking syrup.
I mean, all the blood was
red
fake.
food dye.
The intestines were fake too. Like the random bits of gore were fake. It was just so much fun getting to hang out with Alex Kelly all day, and like
it's so bad we can't even play it on the podcast.
Yeah.
Like literally, not just so people watching and listening understand, it wasn't even our choice. YouTube has flagged the video for gore and restricted it, meaning I'm not allowed to grab the link like I do all the other videos, throw it in my little fucking system, and play it for y'all. I can't. Like, if I were to hit that, it would show up with a big gray screen that says this video is restricted and can only be viewed directly on YouTube. So you would have to, I mean, I guess we could put it in the comment section.
Sure.
Or the link. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe maybe is what we'll do is when we wrap up the podcast, like tomorrow, maybe I'll do it tonight because it's right in the email. I'll grab that link. I'll throw it in the description. Because that will also transfer to audio.
Oh, sure.
So in a week when because I'm way behind with all the family shit and everything I'm going through, I've really dropped a lot of balls, and I apologize, you guys, but I'm making sure we're still keeping up on doing the podcast. I'm just not uploading them and keeping up on all the back end as well as I usually do. But
you're doing a great
when
thing.
we do that, I'll take that link and put it in the audio side too. So like motherfuckers from Hungary and the international listeners we have, they'll also have on the audio side the ability to click that link and go to your YouTube and watch that video.
Oh, yes.
I don't have a huge audience, but we do have a wide reach. So you get basically guaranteed up to a minimum of 12 to 1,500 people.
That's amazing.
That will at least hear some version of this podcast over the next X amount of months or whatever. So if those people grab it and start sharing it, they can make it go viral and do well from that shock and awe factor, right? If they love it, if it's great, if it's creepy, whatever. The algorithm, once it flagged you for gore and restricted it to above 18, the algorithm will not acknowledge any trends and then pick it up and push it to more people with a similar taste. That's what you lost.
So this is kind of like a natural segue into this topic, but like we're discussing what we're going to do for our next music video, and like it's going to be one of the songs off Dead Matter, the new album, and every single song on that album is a different horror movie concept. Every single song on that album is a different like monster. Or
get creative then and figure out a way to visualize it in the opposite manner.
What we're gonna do is the song on that album, Slasher, is about like slasher horror movies.
Any more of this?
I'm
this
okay.
Is the spicy one?
I just cracked this.
You got a regular one, right?
This is great. But we're gonna do Slasher, and it's like supposed to be like a campy horror movie, like Friday the 13th or something like that. But we're all gonna like pile out of the van, start partying, and then get murdered by a serial killer. Dude, one at a time.
Okay, this is completely off topic, but I have an idea.
Yes.
For a music video.
What you got?
And I think I'm going to do it for my own band, but I want to do it with like a bunch of da boys. Right?
The boys?
Yeah. Like holler at da boys.
Oh my god.
Right? Da boys. Like BOIS. Da boys. What's up, boys? Not boys. It's boys.
Boys?
It's boys. Yeah, Da Boys. So the concept is, and it's sort of stolen from a movie, but also not really, because I actually had this idea before I saw this movie. Did you ever see The Knights of Badassdom?
Oh, I think I've heard of that, but I haven't like.
With Peter Dinklage.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So I actually had this idea before that movie came out, and they got very similar and very close to my idea, but I'm still going forward with my idea because they didn't get close enough to where it's like they already did it. But basically the concept is, and it's a music video, I think I'm going to do it for my project, where we're going to get fucking dressed up like a bunch of D&D Comic-Con motherfuckers, right? And then we're going to crash a LARPing convention.
Dude.
And here's the thing, though, dude. Like,
are you into D&D?
Kind of.
Are you into Magic the Gathering?
A little bit,
dude. I love.
Okay, I gotta introduce you to Pat Rulin. I gotta introduce you to Pat Rulin. I got a bunch of Magic cards. I talked to Pat about this before because I was huge into Magic when it first came out.
Okay,
and I have some old original cards.
For me, it goes music, Magic, golf, snowboarding. Those are my 4 4 things in order of what I love. I love music, and then I love magic, like right up next.
That's unhealthy,
dude.
Magic shouldn't be that high.
It is unhealthy.
It shouldn't be that high, bro. I'm just letting you know right now, man. Music is cool to be number one. That makes sense. That
I'm
lines
unapologetic.
Up. Healthy.
Unapologetic.
But it's healthy.
I love magic.
Magic though definitely needs to be like 3rd or 4th, bro.
Dude, no. I can't even help it. I love it. I play every Saturday with a group of my friends for like 6 to 8 hours. Every Saturday. Love it to death. Ryan's actually going to join us on Saturday.
I got to introduce you to Pat Rulin.
Please, anybody that knows what's up.
Pat Rulin's also a beast level drummer.
No shit.
Like one of the most respected drummers on the scene. You talk to any drummer that really knows all the drummers in this, Pat Rulin's name will almost always be mentioned in that circle.
Who has he performed with?
So he started with me in Solace and Ashes.
Yeah.
And then he moved on to The Body Beneath and then Ambassador Gun, which was a variation of a Second from the Surface or Seconds from the Surface or something like that. Which is Tim Seiler's old deal, who's in Cobra Czar now.
Oh yeah, with Tim.
Yeah, and they got signed to Prosthetic.
Dude, amazing.
Ambassador Gun did.
Tim sent me one of their tracks a little while back, and it was mind blowing.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it's fucking crazy, dude. How good those guys are.
They're so good.
What were we talking about before the magic thing?
Totally forgot because I got so fixated on D&D and magic. But it was D&D.
Yeah. Okay, so here's what I want to do. Okay, so here's what I want to do, right? I want to get dressed up like some Comic-Con D&D level motherfuckers, right? Because, yeah, I'm a bit of a nerd when it comes to that shit. So, like, part of me kind of wants to, like, just, like, give in and do it, right?
Do it.
But I'm like, nah. No. I'm way too cool for that, for real. So, but I kind of also want to do it. So here's what I'm gonna do. I want to crash a LARPing convention.
Oh my god.
I want to have the foam sword. But here's the thing: is I'm gonna beat the shit out of some people with some styrofoam, bro. I'm gonna fuck people up with that styrofoam sword.
Film it,
dude. Yes, and literally just get it, and we're gonna fucking pound beers. Like, it's basically a take on, like, Dead to Falls, Major Rager.
So good.
Chum Fiesta vibe.
Yes.
But it's us crashing a LARPing convention, and I want to fuck some people up with some fucking styrofoam and pillows. Like, I'm going to have somebody where we literally take a pillow and we build it into a weapon like a fucking mace. So I want to see somebody leave their feet, bro, on camera in slow motion. Like,
dude, I bet if you tell these people beforehand, they'll be so.
Fuck no, I ain't telling nobody.
If you do,
I'm assaulting people. I want to almost get arrested.
They'll be so stoked on the whole situation. I guarantee you, they'll be down.
It might be better if they know. But it might be better if they don't know, because I want to assault some people.
You get a little bit of both.
Like, get them in on it and then just go a little too far.
Yes.
Ask for forgiveness instead of permission.
Straight up like the cover for Vulgar Display of Power.
No, I think you're right, because in order for me to capture any of their faces and put it in a video, I have to already get releases anyway. So yeah.
Matt says magic is a number 2. Ken confirm. He knows.
That's not healthy, bro.
We played like 6 hours of magic on the drive to these shows, and then like leaving Omaha to Des Moines, we played like the whole way there almost.
I do love me classic RPGs.
Oh yeah, like what? Final Fantasy?
I mean, honestly, like classic RPG. So pretty almost like my thing with the movie genre ideas, where I'm like, yep, I'm in.
Yeah.
Okay, so pretty much all of them, right? Especially when they moved to the video game platform, where I got to literally see my character and interact.
What are your favorite RPGs?
Like, I mean, dude, I've probably played on console. I'm not a PC dude, because I could never afford that shit. But I probably played pretty much all of them, from the silly ones, like Fable, Dragon Age.
Oh my god, I designed
obviously Skyrim.
Yes.
Fucking. I've fucked with the Final Fantasies on all the different platforms.
funny story about Skyrim whenever it's appropriate.
I'm trying to think of any of the D&D just launched a game. I fucked with the Magic the Gathering game. They put one of those on Xbox. I fucked with that for a little bit. I even bought like a $50 digital deck online, which was worthless. I should have never done that.
Have you messed around with Magic Arena yet?
No, because like honestly, it's just like the reality is it's just a time issue, man. Like when it comes to video games, I'm so for me. You mentioned like your top 4 loves.
Yeah.
For me, it's music, and then it's literally football.
Totally. Okay.
It's literally football, not the Vikings, not NFL. It's
football.
fucking
the
football.
Sport of football.
I'm obsessed with it to an unhealthy level. Just like I'm giving you shit about the Magic.
It's fair.
Not healthy.
I deserve all the shit for
Dude,
it, honestly.
Like I literally will sit here and try to play. Like it's almost like I'm in AA right now. So the way I play my video games, I do them seasonally. So right now it's baseball season. So I'm playing MLB The Show. I so badly want to fucking throw this game through the fucking wall and open up my football franchise and rebuild a new team from scratch.
You play like along with the seasons?
Fuck yeah.
Is that the situation?
Franchise, baby.
Okay,
yes.
nice.
It's all about building that dynasty over years. I'll win every Super Bowl, motherfucker. Like, I'm not even allowed to play every game anymore because I'll go 16-0 every year.
Unreal.
On all Madden.
Oh
yeah,
my
I'm so obsessed, dude.
That's
I have
amazing.
friends that are former professional football players. Ezra Tuaolo, former Viking, sat in that chair and did a podcast with us right here in the studio. Mike Singletary, Hall of Fame linebacker for the Chicago Bears, 1985 Super Bowl champions, close friend of mine. I'm doing a podcast with him soon. So it's literally the number in I probably should have followed football a lot farther than I did, because if I give my kids advice and they have both options, music or football, I'm going to try to get them to do both. But if they have to choose, I'm still telling them to go football, because even if you blow out your knee and you never play a day in the pros, there is such a direct and clear and obvious path for your career.
Totally.
Like literally you can go through high school, you can go through college, you build networking, you build relationships, you get an agent, there's so many things that it's obvious and clear.
You've been getting that free
in
ride.
The music industry, still to this day, it's a lot of luck. It's who do you know? And
it's a money
I know
game.
A lot of great musicians that have done nothing with their careers. And I know a lot of shitty musicians that have blown up. And I'm like, if that guy can blow up, I'm not giving up.
Totally.
But then I also turn around, I'm like, but if that guy can't make it, why am I even trying? Because that dude's way more dope than I am. And he can't, and he had to give up his music to take care of it. Maybe I should just quit then. That's what's fucked up about the music industry. There is no clear path. There is no guaranteed success. It has gotten easier and more clear since the internet, because now you can monetize on YouTube, on Instagram, and you can figure out other ways. In Patreon, you can build a direct support line with your own community right through fucking Patreon now. That didn't happen 20 years ago, so it is easier, but it's still not as obvious.
I feel like it's like a double-edged sword, the internet, and like availability, YouTube, iTunes, all that stuff. It's like, it's really great because like you can reach a broader audience and get your stuff in front
faster.
You can get your art in front of people's faces faster. Whereas like in early 90s, like it was like the record labels were significant because they put you in the stores, they sold your CDs, that was like how artists were making money off their art, was selling CDs. But now if you're a successful band, like that means you're also a successful retailer. You know what I mean? Like you're selling t-shirts, you're selling merch, you're selling like...
Well, and that's the other thing is like, it's interesting because you could say you're a retailer, but you're really not. Because you're not storing any of this merchandise anymore. You're not investing and buying the capital and then reselling it up. No, now you hire and outsource a third-party company to create a mock-up that you throw up on your website, and they're literally printed on demand.
Yeah.
So,
but let me ask you this: when's the last time you paid for a CD?
Well, here's what I'm getting at, and this is sort of a roundabout answer to that question. is that's the value that a record label used to do.
Yes.
Is they'd go, we're going to give you $100,000 to print 20 different t-shirts, and we're going to get them in Kmart and Walmart and Target and all the cool fucking t-shirt shops around the country. And we're going to give you this money to record this $100,000 album in this $1 million studio. And we're going to front you the $250,000 that it's going to cost you to go on tour. And we're going to pay the $500,000 a year for the first 3 years to get your song on all the top 40 radio stations to make you a hit.
Yeah.
So we can all make money together. Well, the internet came around and eliminated that. We think of all the positives, but we don't think about the vacuum that was created.
Yeah. I mean,
because now you do something on YouTube, you could get flagged for copyright infringement. You don't have a team of corporate lawyers like Elektra Records does.
Well, how
you
many
see
people,
what I'm saying? Like they're
how many people do you know?
The record labels weren't all evil, is what I'm getting at.
How many people do you know that don't have Spotify or Apple Music?
Personally, one of the two. It's uncountable. Like, most of the people I know don't have one of the two, but everyone I know has one of the two.
Exactly. And like,
almost everyone.
I love Apple Music. I love listening to whoever I want to listen to whenever and pay $10 a month to do it. But like, that is so
and if
devastating.
It's not that, then it's like Amazon or they're on Google Play or whatever.
Or YouTube, honestly.
Sure.
It's like, if I don't
let's
have...
just, for the sake of this argument, let's just keep it to the two, Spotify and iTunes.
Yeah.
But it could be any of these platforms.
Yeah.
For the sake of this analogy.
Absolutely. But like, my point is like, with this being the main delivery of music nowadays, like, why would I ever want to buy somebody's like physical album when like I don't even own a disc drive that can run a CD except for my DVD player?
You've got to make something special.
Yes.
You've got to make something that is more than just a collection of your songs. So like that, here, I'll grab it because I've done this before.
Yeah.
These guys were on the podcast. He gave me this. This is what you do.
Vinyl. Okay.
So it limited runs of different style merch, right? That matter. So there's something special that happens here, right? So, okay, you don't do a DVD or you don't do a CD. You don't even do a CD with a bonus DVD. No, you do a fucking Blu-ray where there's exclusive bonus content that no one will ever have access to, including online and Patreon, unless they buy your physical copy of your deal. And so back in the day, this was the entire media, right? So you would buy a record, you'd take it out of the package, you do all these amazing things with it, right? And we built this nostalgia on that. And then we became resentful when digital music came out. That doesn't mean you can't do that and there's not a place for that. Is what it means is no one's going to pay you the insane amount of money it costs for that if it's literally the same thing at a lower audio quality than what they can get on iTunes. So you have to put more value into the product. And that's the point, is like we as musicians have lost our ability to package our art and build value in that. So this should have bonus tracks on it that don't exist online.
Yeah, but what's stopping people from ripping it off of this medium?
Because that's not valuable now. Because like, this is a limited run. If
somebody just wants to hear your specific song that was only released on this medium, like,
it's the same reason.
It's eventually going to be leaked on.
I'll tell you why. It's the same reason you can model my 5150 tone on your amp, but my 5150 is worth money.
That's fair.
Because it's the actual item.
That's a fair
It's
argument.
A collectible. It's a real tangible thing that matters now.
Yeah.
Sure, you can listen to this online, but I got that motherfucker sealed in the package. And 40 years from now, when this is the next Beatles, I've got one of 25 colored vinyls.
It's like the
it's
difference.
Colored red.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? So it's like, oh, but out of the colored vinyls, they only made 5 reds.
Dude, it's like
you see what I'm getting?
It's like the
dumb
difference.
Shit.
It's the
dumb.
difference of playing like Magic Arena online and getting like these digital copies of the cards versus owning the real one.
Actual.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've had this is a whole nother rabbit hole to go down to.
And we are starting to get into like the NFT argument.
What's that?
Non-fungible tokens. So like you can sell your art digitally online and it's encrypted.
Okay, yeah.
So people are like, yeah, but I don't understand why you can't just like take that and sell that. And it's like, no, okay. I can now turn around and sue you for passing on a JPEG of my actual original PNG file.
Yeah.
Because I bought it's like me owning the original Mona Lisa. I can sanction how many prints of that Mona Lisa now are made and resold because I own it. That's actually a bad example because that's public domain, but I think you guys might possibly get my point. That's what you're asking about now. So we do this thing, this CD, whatever. What's preventing somebody from ripping this and putting this online? That's fine, but just like the Magic cards, it's not the NFT. It's not the actual source file. This is what actually holds value.
This is what's worth money. This is like
that's
a
copy.
Digital representation.
It's a copy
that you get for free. Yeah.
It's a fake purse.
Yes.
It's a fake Gucci purse.
Okay, I'm really interested to know your opinion because I've had this conversation with my girlfriend so many times, and she has like forced me to stop talking about it because she gets annoyed. But like, I am not an audiophile in the sense of like records versus MP3s. I am totally not. Same with like wave files or anything like that. Like I hear the music and like if it sounds like shit and it's coming through shitty speakers, like you're going to notice that. But like digital versus analog, I really don't care. I've never cared, and like I would rather listen to a song plugged in from my phone from iTunes on like a 6-speaker setup versus like the same speaker setup plugged into a record.
Yeah, so I got you. I understand this. So for me, if I can find an old school stereo with real fucking like an actual real set of speakers and a real fucking like amp, right? So like again, just like my argument with the tubes in my head,
it's so
right?
similar
It's like
to this
solid
argument.
state.
It's
like
similar.
solid state versus a tube amp. It's not like a modeling amp, which you're using a crown amp to get that power back from. No, it's more like a solid state, which is most of our modern day stereos, including dope ass studio speakers, versus an old school studio system, an old school home stereo system. Sorry, I misspoke. Because I only know a couple cats that have those old school systems still up and running, and when they put on a fucking record, it hits different. It sounds different. And I get it. I'm like, oh, so if you want to get rid of the scratchy sound,
but then
we can throw the MP3 through there and it still bangs.
Why is it different?
There is an actual tonal difference.
Was it like a warmer sound? Is that the argument? Like,
I think that's the way most of us would say, yes, it's warmer and richer, but I think is what it is. It's a lack of digital compression, because as soon as you start going through an MP3 or a CD, you're going ones and zeros, whereas an actual record is still a true analog signal from front to back, no ifs, ands, or buts.
That is the best argument about this.
So there is zero compression. There is no conversion.
It's all dynamic.
Yep, but you have to have a fucking ripping dope-ass old school stereo to even get close to that sound. In anything short of that, you can't notice that kind of difference. And if you say you can, you're fucking lying.
That's what I think, honestly. Like,
most people are full of shit.
And then we're talking about
like, something, because I still know a couple of those cats that'll put on an AC/DC record, and I'm like, I can never get this song to hit that hard. Like, there's no system that exists unless I get in a venue and take over a PA. Nobody's stereos can do what this dude can do.
I think I'm such a hater because I just haven't experienced that yet. Like, there hasn't been
technology
anything.
Died a long time ago,
dude,
bro.
Like, I mean, it's the argument of like writing a paper on a typewriter versus writing a paper on a laptop. That's how I think about it.
Yeah.
Like, they'll both print you the same fucking paper, but...
And I can't tell you you're wrong, but I also 100% believe and understand both of those people's arguments with the typewriter, because I've been in both those situations. And it's like, again, if I were in your band, I would be going, no, dude, modeling amps. You don't understand what we're able to do with these things.
Well, touching on what you
with
said
my
earlier,
sound, it's like, dude, we're never going to get, it's going to sound too clean. It's going to sound too perfect if I use a modeling amp. I need tube spank. I need that natural organic feedback.
Referencing what you said earlier about like bands where it's like you want to recreate the same sound every time you give a performance or something like that. That's what I fixate on.
So much easier to do on your deal.
Yes. Yeah. It's going to be the same every time because it's digital. Like there's not going to be variation in whatever.
I think that does become a theoretical or philosophical difference between some rock and metal genres and musicians. Is metal is more about replicating exactness every time.
Exactly.
Rock and roll is much more liberal in willing to each performance is even in tonally sometimes is unique. Like, oh, I threw a new pedal in my setup tonight in the middle of my tour. A metal band would never do that.
No, yeah.
Ever. But a rock band does that shit all the time. Guitar players have actually been known for, famous guitar players, and you gotta really be a fucking rube. Like, you gotta go to, I forget what the website is, but you can go to a website and look at every single guitar player in history and find somebody who figured out their chain signal for their entire pedal board, which order they put things in, and then different versions they've had throughout their careers. I forget what the website is, but I used to look at it all the time for different ways to set things up.
We got a comment here that says streaming music is actually missing information, not all there. I totally know what you're talking about, and I think that is like the dynamic range.
Yeah, well, and the new shit, okay, so now they just released, and this is part of that new Apple technology we were talking about.
Yeah.
So Apple now, certain recordings, if you upload them properly, if you look on Apple Music, there's certain recordings that show this is a lossless upload.
Wow.
It's a lossless upload. So there's, unlike a classic MP3 that really crushed it,
yeah,
and then the MP4, which was less crushed but still compressed, this new one is allegedly lossless. And if you click the description, it even breaks it down, and it's like, no, we will fucking give you a full, I think they even mention either 48 or 96 instead of just a 44. So if you record at 48, we'll give you a 48.
Wow.
And maybe I'm misquoting it. May not go all the way up to 96, but they just released this on one of the last updates for Apple Music. But I still agree with you, man. I still agree that old school tone, there's a reason it has not been made obsolete, dude.
Yeah.
And there's value in that. And so I don't think the argument is valuable when we try to say which one's better. I think the argument is valuable when we try to understand the applications and the strengths and weaknesses of each one.
That's
and
what
the people
it always
using
comes
them.
down to. Always.
Like I said, it's like fucking PC versus Mac.
Yeah.
It's an endless argument, and there is no right or wrong application or right or wrong answer. There's right or wrong applications. Like, if I'm trying to be a fucking game streamer on a Mac, you're an idiot.
Yeah. It's not going to happen. Well, it might not be as easy as...
And again, this technology is also changing, right? So if I'm doing video editing, if I'm doing a lot of Photoshop, heavy shit like that, a lot of things like that, music works better on an app or on an Apple. Just less crashes, things like that. Not always true, though. You know, so you got to understand, like Wally, for example, who's done the Stormbreaker records, he does both. He uses Logic and Pro Tools.
Absolutely.
Same thing. People make that argument. What's better, Logic or Pro Tools? They have different strengths and weaknesses.
It's
Ableton Live, different strengths and weaknesses.
Different means to the same end.
Wally
honestly.
literally uses both.
Yeah.
Like, there's a reason why. You know? So, I don't know. It's fucking... I think it's dumb. I think all of these arguments are dumb. Is what we need to start
Everybody
understanding.
just gets up on their high horse, man.
Yeah, and instead of going, that's stupid.
They don't want to back down.
I prefer tube amps, like, and I'm one of those guys. But I'm mocking myself right now.
It's fair to be like opinionated or set in your ways, like absolutely.
And I'm mocking myself right now. But I also, at the same time, literally go, yeah, I prefer tube amps, but I also completely understand why they're using that. And I think certain bands, certain things make more sense for. like most rock bands, I would not recommend an Axe-Fx for ever.
We had a really interesting conversation.
It's too clean for a lot of rock bands.
John Brown from Monuments, when we played a show with them at, it's not Whiskey.
Keep talking, speak up. I got to take another leak.
It's not Whiskey Junction. What's the other venue right there?
The Caboose?
The Caboose, yeah. So it was Monuments at the Caboose.
I don't even think those are actually right next to each other, but for some reason that's the correlation I drew.
They're across the parking lot.
Are they?
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
I thought Whiskey Junction was like downtown.
No.
See,
I think it's right across the park. Now you got me questioning my sanity.
Jamie's, let us know. We call the viewers, we call them Jamies.
Jamies.
You know why? Okay. So it's because they're not fans. They're not whatever. No. We don't have a producer. So they're all our producers. Okay. So they get to do our fact checking for us. If we say something stupid, they get to correct us.
Well, if we need
them to look something up or drop a link, drop that shit in there. Yeah, so because now you got me questioning me too. I thought Whiskey Junction was downtown.
No, they're for sure
downtown.
Sure right next to each other. I haven't seen a show at Whiskey Junction, but seen a show at the Caboose, and Monuments was one of them. And
which one of us is tripping, you guys? It's probably me, but let's find out. Which one of us is tripping?
Hey, maybe we hit him with another vid. I kind of gotta.
You gotta piss too?
A little bit.
Finish telling your story.
All right. Well, I mean, the only thing was like we played a show with Monuments, which is a great band. If you haven't checked them out, they're awesome. But John Brown is like a really respected guitar player, and he was raving. He had an Axe-Fx on stage with him, but he was using like, I think it was a triple rack that he was playing out of. And like he would not stop raving about like, this is my main guitar tone. The Axe-Fx is just my like auxiliary effects.
Like a pedal board.
Exactly.
That he ran through his effects loop.
You can automate.
That is probably the dopest. If money is not an issue, that's probably the answer.
100%.
Find your head,
yes,
a tube head, and run an Axe-Fx through the fucking effects loop. It becomes a glorified pedal board.
Exactly.
Holy shit.
That you can automate with a computer and you don't have to tap dance.
You're souping up that digital Axe-Fx tone through your preamp and power amps before it even makes it to the speaker, before it hits the microphone, before it hits the PA.
I thought it was a super sick application.
That is one of the cleverest, most creative things. I think we just literally solved.
That's marrying both the technologies right there.
For
just like getting the best of both worlds.
Not even in a cheesy way. That's genius. But you got to have some serious cash because a fucking Mark III. I mean, is that what he said? A Mark III? You said it was a Mesa, right?
Triple rack, yeah.
Yeah, that's basically a Mark III.
Yeah.
That. I mean, they stopped calling them Rex after.
I mean, it had to have been a triple rack or a 5150, like one of those two amps. But like, whatever he was doing, he was running the Axe-Fx through the effects return. Or the effects loop. Like,
yeah, that's genius.
Super sick.
Yeah, because he's getting that real foundational tube tone.
Yep.
If money's not an issue and you got, because man.
But then you're talking about owning an Axe-Fx or Kemper or whatever and a super sick like tube amplifier. I mean,
now you're immediately looking at, plus you're going to need shit to clean up those signals.
$3,000 right there.
Oh, way more than that. Because a triple rec or whatever tube amp you pick, minimum of $1,000. Minimum of $1,000. And that's for like a 6505 if you go that route, which is the low end.
I would never get a 6505.
The cheapest Mesa is entry level, like $2,000, right? Same thing with that Marshall. So pick your head. You're looking at $2,000 realistically,
totally.
And then another $2,000 for your Axe-Fx or your Kemper minimum, plus high quality cables, plus the actual extended board to switch your shit.
$1,000 for your cab.
Oh my God. Yeah. I mean, you have a $10,000 guitar rig at the end of the day because you're still going to end up buying other shit.
Then just think about how much money that is.
Tuna. You need a tuna and a wireless. Yeah, you're spending $10,000, dude. That's a $10,000 guitar rig. And we haven't even started talking about your actual guitars yet. Well, you know what's fair though is you're finally in the drummer world.
Yeah,
you're finally feeling the burn.
Just have a bit easier time with setup and tear down.
You got anything else you want to talk about, dude? You got any more fucking You guys got any more questions? You got any more fucking shit you wanted to bring up?
Just to check out Dead Matter. We put
That's the new album, right?
The new album. Dead
And there's
Matter.
links for that in the description, you guys.
We put so much time into that. There's 14 songs on there to enjoy. They're all great. We all put our heart, blood, sweat, and tears into it.
The way you're saying it with the look on your face sounds very sarcastic.
No sarcasm.
Like you're like, we put so much heart into it.
Oh my god. It was
no, it's a dope album.
It was an
experience,
really
good,
but just check it out if you get a chance. Like, listen to any of the songs. And again, thank you so much for this opportunity.
Dude,
this
I'm honored, man.
Like,
it was a blast to have you on.
This
I
was a
hope you had
blast to
fun?
be here. I had so much fun.
I'd love to do it again with you.
Likewise, you let me know.
I want to. If we're gonna do it though, I want to do Hanzo one-on-one, and then I want to have the three of you back. And then we'll do the three of you, and then we'll expand into the rhythm section later.
That sounds great.
I kind of got an idea, the better, because if I bring too many of you guys on at once, I can't really actually get to know any of you guys. It's fucking chaos.
Oh, I understand.
And the only way it really becomes entertaining is if we get fucking hammered. And then my wife gets irritated. So, we got to balance our shit, but thank you for coming on, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me.
You guys can follow By the Thousands on Facebook, which the link is in the description. And you can also follow them on YouTube, where they have all their music videos, including the one we couldn't play tonight, which was called
Soul Conductor.
That is on that YouTube channel, which I couldn't play tonight. I will eventually throw it in the description, though. So thanks for hanging out with us, guys. I appreciate it. Cheers, my dude.
Cheers, man. Thank you so much.
This was a blast. Thank you again. If you guys haven't already, please hit subscribe, like, share, all that shit. We are the algorithm. For real. Like, if you share it, you're telling the algorithm, hey, I liked this. You should show this to more people too. So do all that. If you're feeling extra frisky, go to patreon.com/JaredSingerLive. You guys can make a one-time donation, or you can join on a monthly basis. Anything else you want to add before we get out of here?
This was amazing. Thank you so much again.
No problem, dude. It was a blast, man. Let's do it again. All right, guys. Oh, wait. We had one more because we got to go to the bathroom.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, dude, we're not done.
So we're
going to play another
again.
song. We're going to play a song, and then we'll come back and say goodbye.
Perfect.
Which is, we're just really going to end the podcast, but we're going to take a leak. So we'll see you guys later.
Inside, I'm blind, I believe in Cautious state of mind. Race through the memories of mine. Gaze at the life left through these eyes.